Hello everyone and welcome to Sovereign Citizen Watch. Today we're going to be looking at all our favorite sovereign citizens, but our favorite sovereign citizen is singular, and that's Marcel Basset. Of course, there'll be others, but Marcel has a new video, so we're going to check that out. Of course, I screened this one since Marcel is sort of a... let's call him a wild card and be nice about it. Marcel is a bit of a wild card, so I need to screen the videos beforehand to make sure there aren't racial slurs or anything that I need to bleep out. This one's clean, so we're all good. Thanks, Marcel. I appreciate when you do that so I don't have to spend an hour and a half cutting out, you know, racist shit. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits says, I'm back from my deposition. The bar for what'll make my day great is very low today, Hannah. Oh boy. That's the standard I like to have. When people are telling me that the bar is low, I know I'm gonna do fine today. I just spilled Coke Zero all over myself, proving my point about the necessity of a low bar for me to succeed. So, good job me. Welcome everyone again to Sovereign Citizen. I'm a mess of a person, okay? Accept me as I am. Sorry, I'm just going through the chat to see what I missed. Verbutin with 20 bits says, don't start already. I heated up the rest of my apple crumble. Ooh. You know what's good? Dutch apple pie. Dutch apple pie's the bomb. Tuba Steve 42, thank you for subscribing with Prime with a 2-month streak, says, I'm ready. Let's hear what the judge has to say. He's a Chief Justice, actually. Give him the respect that he has earned. Bardlock Moses says, loved the Bible study today. Oh, did a Bible study come out today? That's good. C. Wyatt 2285 with 100 bits says, hiya from Arizona, everyone. Hold on, let me, what was the, which one came out today? Oh, yeah. Jesus cursing trees.
I'm Jake.
I'm Hannah. Hello. Welcome to another episode of No Reason. I don't like looking at my face or hearing my voice, so that's about as much of that as I can muster. How do you people watch me? I'm insufferable. That's the dysphoria, though. You know. You know. That XY girl with 20 bits says you're cute. Well, thank you. I don't agree, but I appreciate it. So yeah, we're gonna do Marcel's newest video. We're gonna take a look at... I thought we'd take a look at, because we normally do videos on Sovereign Citizen stuff. I thought we'd take a look at some of the documents and stuff like this that they do. We'll just kind of, you know, take it all together in one shot. Sort of like when we do MAGA cope stuff, but it'll be Sovereign Citizen cope stuff, I guess. MMO Addicted to 20 bits says, you get loud sometimes and wake me up when I'm napping, but I'll bear with you. It's either we watch you or we drink. That's good. Cryptid Deity with 20 bits says, you're great, Hannah. Thank you. What else? What else? There's a random smattering of Sovereign Citizens from Van Balian that we'll take a look at. I wanted to look at some Moorish citizen stuff, too, because some interesting stuff has been happening. Some Moorish citizens in Seattle have been occupying people's homes. Like, if people have gone on vacation or whatever, or if they're, like, out, they have been going into their homes and claiming them as their own. So, we're gonna take a look at some articles about that. Yeah. People are like, what? In the chat? Yeah. Moorish citizens who are sort of like sovereign citizens, but with a black nationalist thing going on, believe that the American continent is rightfully theirs, and they're going to start with people's homes. They're gonna just start stealing people's homes. So, fun stuff. How are you doing today? Okay. I'm okay. So what are we going to do first, folks? Do you want to do the Moorish citizen thing first? Do you want... We'll do a poll. We'll do a quick poll. MMO Addicted says, it's also nice seeing you live your best life in a country where you can actually be you without being branded mentally ill. At least not by the government. Not yet. So that's good. Yeah, I'll make a poll. Do I mean the moops? Yeah, they're sometimes called, these particular Moors are called the moops by, the Sovereign Citizen subreddit, jokingly. Marcel. Moops. Random documents. Something else. Okay, vote in this poll for what you want me to cover first. MMO Addicted says, still way better than Poland. Now I'm off to get some rice for eating. Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I like that. You know, and it's funny because people on the right will be like, the left just hates America. No, I don't hate America. I think there are a lot of things that we can improve, and we should improve, and there are a lot of people suffering that we could mitigate. But, like, I can be myself. I can legally transition. At this point, because of Supreme Court decisions and stuff, I, like, legally at least, de jure, not necessarily de facto, they're not supposed to discriminate against me for, like, employment or anything. It's good, you know? Doom Smoothie with 20 bits says, looked up from drawing furries to see you were streaming. Glad I caught it right at the beginning. Welcome. Is it Moors a racist epithet? Not for them, no. They call themselves that. They call themselves Moorish citizens. It's like the name of their group. Moops is just barely winning. They do hate being called sovereign citizens, that's true. Even though they do everything sovereign citizens do. It's just sovereign citizen stuff, but with, like, black nationalism. MH Dark Beast says, holy Hannah Reloaded, you look great today. Sad we're not doing some, Karna Dune Chud responses. So much crying and whining, it feeds me. Yeah, Chud Watch will be Saturday this week. Well, at least, you know, one. We did one Monday, but the other episode of Chud Watch this week will be Saturday. Looks like Moops are gonna win. Marusamo 20 bits says, I'm making a scrapbook for my boyfriends and my 9th anniversary, and I found a saved AIM chat from 2004. It's very, very hard to read. I used the hard R word a lot. I was 16, yeah. I also said a lot of stuff back in the day that I don't like either. Even on YouTube. I know there was one video, I'm pretty sure it got deleted by now. For the record, this was not, like, in relation to a specific person. I was talking about the N-word. I wasn't calling anyone the N-word. But I was talking about the N-word, and I was using the N-word instead of saying the N-word. Cringe. So bad. I'm pretty sure that video's deleted now. Like, you know, we all make mistakes. It's about learning from them and being able to accept that you messed up. Moops wins. I'm surprised. I thought Marcel had that, like, in a lock for sure. Harry K5 with 20 bits says, hi, Hannah. Conservatives are mad at Gina Carano firing by Lucasfilm. Project Veritas has maybe been banned. Like, from what? They've been banned from what? Also, 15 GOP senators have decided not to show up. Also, the Moors, because that is one that makes me go, what? That's interesting. 15 GOP senators have decided not to... Are they going to show up for the vote later? Because if a bunch of them just choose not to show up... MMO Addicted to 20 bits says, I mean, I used to have to pretend I'm super homophobic. That's how deep in the closet I was and afraid of ever coming out. Now I'm still deep in the closet, but I hate myself just a bit less, says MMO Addicted. Oh, you shouldn't hate yourself. I'm glad you're making progress, though. That's nice. Daddy Sume says, yeah, I remember you were more of a free speech warrior. Yeah, I was also 18 at the time. I was edgy. It's dumb. I spent too much time hanging around. You know, that was right on the fringe of when Skeptic YouTube started getting real alt-righty. And I think I never fully got on it, but I was definitely taking some of that rhetoric and running with it, whether I realized it or not. I'm glad I pulled out of that, though. Let me turn this... My voice, am I crazy? Or my voice to me today sounds like
capitalism.
more masculine than it normally does, and it's really bothering me. I can't tell if it's in my head or if I'm really doing something different. Rambling Poet, thank you for subscribing with a 2-month streak, says 2 months. Love your streams, Hannah. Thank you. Logarth the 20 bits says, all parasocial relationship BS aside, I really do love watching you, and it gives my old heart a bit of hope that the kids living their lives right now aren't completely effed. Oh, thank you. It's in my head? Okay. I sound a bit more scratchy? Sure. My throat might be dry. Profane Priestess says, Hannah, want something to cringe at regarding Ben Shapiro? Sure. I know I sound a lot different than I used to. Do you guys remember how I used to sound? This might make me feel, it'll make me feel bad to listen to, but it'll make me feel better by comparison. Hold on. Let's hear how I used to sound back in the day. Will we ever review Run, Hide, Fight, which is Ben Shapiro's newish movie? Yeah, probably. Let's go back in the before times. Oh no, beard!
Ooh, this one's a little bit taller, I think.
Okay.
Last but not least, poor guy. He's shorter than you.
That's impressive.
He owns the town, so I mean, he could just do what he wants. Sometimes he goes to the grocery store and he bags groceries. Sometimes he's at the traffic stop directing traffic. Today he was teaching a science.
Okay, today...
No one knows what. And then the kids leave, and then a guy comes around the corner and goes, "Abooga booga," and then runs away, and Willie Ames, because he's a normal adult, chases the crazy person. It was nice of this school to be like, alright, Willie Ames, you can dress up with your friends for an hour.
Gross.
City.
You gotta remember, this is essentially a sermon in comic book form. All their stories had to be very vague and definitely didn't happen. His reputation was spot.
I miss being that weight, though. That's about the only thing I miss from back then. I'll get there, though. Profane Priestess says, just remember I warned you.
With the permission of my wife. Here we go. You ready? You ready?
Ben, no. Gross. Daddy Sume says, the boy panties, Hannah. It's the boy panties. I still have them. They're over there. You didn't have to delete Tucker White's message. If that's how Tucker feels about it, that's fine. MMO Addicted says, I mean, in all honesty, I'd peg you to be cousins and not associate you at all. If you and past you were in a lineup, you changed a lot for the better. I don't know if that's true, but thank you. Guys, you don't have to delete Tucker White's messages. Again, it's fine. That's just their opinion. And that's fine. There's a reason I'm doing voice training, because I don't think my voice has changed that much. Anyway, let's move on to the actual content and stop me spiraling. That would be good. I should have picked something. Hold on, I gotta close this vent or something, because I'm getting warm already. At least I don't have the beard. That's good. Okay, so on to the Moorish citizen thing. This is so interesting. So, Moorish citizens are individuals that believe, much like sovereign citizens, that the law doesn't apply to them. They believe that, this is complicated to explain in a concise manner, but I'm gonna do my best. They basically believe that the narrative of Europeans coming to America, where the Native Americans lived and taking over, and then the transatlantic slave trade happening, thus bringing African individuals here to the United States, they believe that that narrative is false. They believe that black people are the actual indigenous peoples of the North American continent, and that North America used to be called Morocco, which is why they call themselves Moors. And they believe that white people then took over and made a bunch of fake history to put down these Moorish individuals. This is, of course, nonsense, but based on this belief, they believe that the laws of the United States or Canada or wherever they happen to reside don't apply to them because they think that they are sovereign Moorish citizens from the United States. That's about as concise as I can put this belief system. So they do interesting things, and something they've done more recently, is some of them have been occupying other people's homes and trying to claim them as their own. They're trying to take the country back one household at a time. So let's take a look at this. This one's in Washington. 2 suspects claiming to be affiliated with a Moorish national group were arrested late Friday after burglarizing a home in the town of Woodway, Edmonds, police said. A 46-year-old Mount Lake Terrace man and a 32-year-old Tacoma woman were booked into the Snohomish County Jail, and their car was impounded as evidence in the case. Last month, Edmonds detectives say a group knocked on doors in the most upscale neighborhoods in Woodway and Edmonds, identifying themselves as Moorish citizens, Moorish sovereign citizens. They carry official-looking documents, say they own the property, and announce they're moving in. They have basically come to say that they're from this particular group, and they're there to repossess the home and want the people to vacate the premises, Edmonds Police Sergeant Josh McClure told Kiro 7's Gary Horcher last month. Their group believes that they own all of the land between Alaska and Argentina and all the islands in between. Unfortunately, Edmonds falls between that land. It's a good line. The Southern Poverty Law Center identifies the Moorish citizens as an extremist group, says members, quote, believe their status as members of a sovereign nation imparts immunity from federal, state, and local authorities. Friday's incident began around 9 p.m. at a home in the 21700 block of Chinook Road in Woodway when a neighbor called to report that there were 2 people in the house, which was vacant and had just been sold. A few minutes later, the alarm company for the home called and reported the system had been tripped multiple times. Edmonds officers responded to the call as a burglary in progress. The first officer to arrive found a vehicle parked outside the locked gate to the home, and 2 suspects, a man and a woman, were on the other side. Arriving officers jumped over the fence and were quickly met by a woman who accused officers of trespassing on her property. That takes some lady balls to break into a house and then see the cops coming to arrest you and to say, you're trespassing on my property. I just arrived here, so it's mine. The man who was with her was recognized by officers as having been recently trespassed from several homes in the area after claiming affiliation with the Moorish group. Both suspects were detained but were uncooperative during the investigation, police said. Police said suspects had posted a notice on the property's for sale sign indicating they owned the property under Moroccan law. Officers gathered statements from witnesses who said the couple had entered the home. They also collected surveillance video showing the suspects inside the house and established probable cause for their arrest. The vehicle the suspects arrived in was impounded pending a search warrant. Since October, there have been 5 other incidents in Edmonds and Woodway involving individuals claiming affiliation with a Moorish group. Police said one of the people arrested Friday had been present and/or was criminally trespassing during the other investigations. So they're like, in a serial manner, going around and trying to claim ownership of other people's houses. Interesting strategy. You'd think homeless people would have thought of that by now if that were a sound strategy. This one is in Seattle, so this is a different group. Oh no, this is still in Edmonds, sorry. It must be like a suburb of Seattle. In Edmonds, Washington, a man had only just moved into his home when a stranger appeared in his driveway. A nice-looking stranger, the man told the police, although oddly dressed. The visitor wore a tall red fez cap. The homeowner stepped outside and asked if he could help him. Yeah, Moorish citizens tend to wear fezes because they're associated with the actual Morocco. Because I believe, and I looked this up once, the red dye that was traditionally used for fezes was from Morocco, which is why the fez is often associated with Moroccan stuff. Yes, the visitor said, according to a police report, I'm here to let you know that I am the legal owner of the property, and today is the day. What? The homeowner asked. Today is the day, the visitor repeated. The back and forth went on for some time, with the visitor repeating, today is the day, and insisting the homeowner had no right to be there. Eventually, the stranger handed over some official-looking paperwork and drove off. The weird encounter was one of 4 such incidents to take place in a pair of Seattle suburbs in recent weeks. Someone knocks on the door, claims to be the legal owner of the house, and tells the current occupants to clear out. But these aren't the evictions that have swept the country. These aren't the evictions that have swept the country amid the COVID-19 pandemic. They're hoaxes perpetrated by the Moorish Sovereign Citizen Movement, a conspiratorial group that claims its members are the rightful owners of virtually all property in America. The police have not accused anyone of a crime related to these incidents, but the incident reports implicate a specific Moorish sovereign citizen group and one of its leaders. Sorry, dry throat. Sovereign citizens falsely believe themselves to be emancipated from U.S. citizenship, and therefore immune to most or all laws. Contained within the sprawling alt-legal movement are Moorish sovereign citizens. I haven't heard the term alt-legal. I prefer pseudo-law, but sure. Who believe black people are indigenous Americans and are therefore not bound by the same laws in the rest of the country. That's interesting to me, because that's not even how it works for actual indigenous people. Certainly there are reservations on which tribal law is sort of the law there, but like, if you're an indigenous person and you're in the continental United States and not like on a reservation, then the law of the land applies to you. Anywhere you are on planet Earth, if there is a legal authority in that land, then the laws of that land apply to you because they are going to apply those laws to you. They're a sort of subset of sovereigns, said Christine Sartenchi, an associate professor of criminology and author of a book on sovereign citizens. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. Even this subgroup had different sects, she told the Daily Beast. Some believe they have diplomatic immunity because they're members of these North American fictitious tribes, that they're descended from them. They believe they were the first inhabitants of the Americas, and therefore they own everything. Argonian Bum asks, do they believe that indigenous people are allies or invaders? It's going to depend on the sect. I've seen different answers from different groups. A common one is that they believe that Native Americans are also Moorish. They believe that they're just like different skin tone slightly, but they believe that they're part of the same group, which is why you'll sometimes see Moorish citizens with like pretty insensitive. They'll wear like headdresses and stuff because they've sort of appropriated, some of them, not all. Some of them have also appropriated some of like certain tribes' cultural stuff into their movement because they've sort of commingled in their mind those two groups. Others believe it's like a completely different thing. So it just depends. The Edmonds, Washington homeowner, unnamed in police reports, appears to have landed on the receiving end of that ideology. After his visitors drove off, the man looked at the paperwork he had been handed and saw it was from the Moorish National Republic federal government, a police report reads. The paperwork went on with rambling, somewhat nonsensical statements, claiming to own the man's property. The paperwork contained a map with the man's house marked with a pin. The Moorish National Republic, which did not return a request for comment, bills itself as the true government of the United States and purports to own all the land in North America. Like other sovereign citizens, the group routinely files massive long lawsuits full of faux legal jargon, in this group's case, claiming to seize land by eminent domain and declaring themselves the rightful owners of 666 trillion. When the Edmonds man searched for the group online, he found a picture of his visitor, red fez and all, on a webpage for the group's Supreme Judiciaries. The man called himself Marcel Maddox Bay. Oh no, another Marcel! What is with, like, we have Marcel Basset here, who is a sovereign citizen, and then this guy's Marcel. His last name is a common appendage that connotes noble heritage in Moorish circles. They could not be reached for comment. While the Edmonds man was researching Maddox Bay, a woman in nearby Woodway received a similar visit approximately an hour later. Like the Edmonds man, the woman had recently moved into the ritzy home and was surprised to see a visitor outside her front gate. She used an intercom system to ask the man what he wanted. According to a police report, she replied that that he was there to repossess the home. I can't imagine being this delusional that you think this is going to work. How did they think this was going to go? Did they think they were going to walk up to this like bougie rich person house, or it might have just been a McMansion, whatever, and they were going to hit the intercom? Psh, hi, how can I help you? Hi, I'm here to repossess the house. I own this house now because I said so. And did they think they were going to go, oh, okay, let me grab my stuff. I'll be out in an hour. Like, how did they think this was going to go? She told him this was ridiculous and told the male to leave. He said he was from some sort of government organization or something, the report reads. At that time, she accidentally pressed the wrong button on her phone's security gate interface and opened the gate. Oh no! Don't do that. Don't do that. Dr. Gamble with,
capitalism.
I live here. You live here? I live here. Perfect. Perfect meme. Ooh, we're on a hype train. Beautiful. The car proceeded to drive in, but left when the woman came outside and said she was calling the police. The driver briefly returned soon after and paused outside the gate before driving off again. Police told the Daily Beast that a third home had also received a visit, and one of the houses had been visited twice. For attempted home takeovers, the incidents have been remarkably mild, resulting in no criminal charges so far, police noted. They've been cooperative and compliant, and even in some cases respectful to our officers, an officer told Washington's KIRO radio station. But we don't think they're going to go away anytime soon in terms of their attempts to do this. Right now, I think that's probably the right move. Oh, wowzers. Well, I'll get to the bit messages in a minute when we're done with this, but wowzers, Antipodian Squid. Thank you so much for the bits. That's the most bits. Thank you. I think the idea of just arresting these people for this would be pretty extreme. They're certainly foolish and they're wrong, but I don't know. They're mistaken. I don't take them as necessarily scam artists. I don't think they know this is a grift. I think they're genuinely misled because it would make no sense whatsoever for them to do this if it was just a scam. There would be no end game. They really think this stuff. So, at least at this juncture, it makes sense, I think, for the police to kind of get in contact with them and be like, look, I know you believe this, but it is not the case. You cannot take other people's homes. You cannot trespass. And if you continue to do so, we will arrest you. I think a warning is completely warranted in this case, and hopefully they'll learn their lesson, but I'm kinda doubting it. We'll see, though. Marcel Maddox Bay, the man described in a police report as visiting one of the Edmonds homes, has attempted such legal maneuvers during the seizure of his own home by lenders. In a 2016 lawsuit against the mortgage company that foreclosed on him, Maddox Bay unsuccessfully argued that he disowned his debt, and that as a Moorish sovereign citizen, he was immune to taxation. That's interesting, because again, this is basically exactly what Marcel Bisset has done. Marcel Bisset has claimed he's disowned his debt and that he is immune to taxation. I'm still waiting for Marcel to get arrested, by the way. Bisset, because he does all this stuff too. He and the group have not been accused of violence, but as COVID-related conspiracies and desperation spike, other members of the sovereign citizen movement, Moorish and non, have made headlines for arrests. On Sunday, police arrested a Connecticut man who allegedly declared himself a sovereign citizen during a dispute about face masks. More ominously, federal agents busted a self-described sovereign citizen in Boston on weapons charges in late November, allegedly revealing bomb-making materials in his home. The man used the surname L, another common Moorish sovereign citizen styling. So yeah, interesting stuff. Concerning, but, you know, it is what it is. This is something put out, I think, by the police, or it's reporting on something that the police are saying. This is about these incidents. For the second time in 3 weeks, Edmonds police were called to a home in the town of Woodway after suspects belonging to a group known as the Moorish Sovereign Citizen Movement claimed they had rightful ownership of the victim's property. The suspects in question were issued trespass notices and ordered not to return, but Edmonds police are now warning citizens to be alert to anyone making such claims, or to anyone occupying vacant property and claiming ownership. The November 14th incident was a follow-up to two similar situations at two separate Woodway homes that occurred on October 21st, said Edmonds police spokesperson, Sergeant Josh McClure. The town of Sorry, now I'm just thinking. Hi, I'm Josh McClure. You may know me from criminal indictments such as sovereign citizens breaking into homes. The town of Woodway contracts with the city of Edmonds for police services. The Southern Poverty Law Center identifies the Moorish sovereign citizens as an extremist group, and notes on its website that its members believe their status as members of a sovereign nation imparts immunity from federal, state, and local authorities. They use this perceived immunity to justify refusing to pay taxes, buy auto insurance, register their vehicles, and to defraud banks and other lending institutions, and in some cases they trespass on property and claim that it's their own. We're at 91% of the level 4 hype train with 40 seconds left. This 2013 story, which aired on NPR, highlighted, quote, a growing trend of Moorish sovereign nationals claiming property and exemption from U.S. law. NPR cites a Washington Post story about Lamont Butler, who lived briefly in a mansion in Bethesda, Maryland. The house with 12 bedrooms and 6 kitchens was up for sale. Butler didn't own it. He simply walked in and lived there. But Butler says he wasn't breaking and entering. He claims the mansion was his because he's a Moorish American national, a sovereign citizen, not subject to federal and state laws, NPR reported. The first incidents in Woodway occurred October 22nd when a man approached two residents there and told the homeowners he had legal claim to their property. In one case, police said, the man presented the homeowners with paperwork he claimed gave him rightful ownership. In the other case, he told the homeowners he was being evicted. In both cases, the homeowners told the man he was incorrect and asked him to leave, and then called 911. In both cases, the suspect left at the homeowner's request. Then, on November 14th, the same suspect, accompanied by a second man, returned to one of the Woodway properties he had contacted on the 22nd of October. This Excuse me. This time, police who responded to the incident issued a trespass notice to the men, telling them that if they returned, they would be arrested, McClure said. McClure urged citizens to be vigilant regarding these issues and to contact police if they observe anyone who appears to be unlawfully occupying a vacant property. Interesting stuff. I don't have a ton to add to this because I think it's, on the face of it, everyone recognizes how absurd this is and how strange it is that they think that they can just walk into other people's houses and take them. But nonetheless, it's very interesting. I don't know. I'm curious if this will increase or decrease. This specific sect has been doing stuff like this for a while. They file a lot of fraudulent lawsuits.
There's nothing funny about the tools
Interesting
of
stuff.
capitalism.
So, if there's any, again, this was back in October, so I don't know if there'll be any new developments coming out of this, but if there are, I'll let you guys know. Crazy stuff.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Okay, on to all the bit messages. We have done it! Level 5 Hype Train with 111%. Wowzers. Mostly because, I shouldn't say mostly, in large part due to Antipodian Squid.
There's
So let's
nothing
get to
funny
these
about
bit
the tools
messages.
of capitalism.
MMO Addicted says, don't remind me, I haven't shaved for too long, I look like a Wookiee. Harry K5 with 20 bits, are they racist towards Native Americans? I haven't seen them necessarily be racist, but they mischaracterize them. And they often sort of lump in, how do I put this? Sovereign citizens do the sort of racist thing of, like, lumping in every indigenous American group as, like, one thing. Like, they're all, the same, when obviously nothing could be further from the truth, and there are huge differences between different tribes and stuff, but, Freaking Out 99 says, really hope one of these squatters has an active YouTube channel. They do. Misunderstand, thank you for resubscribing with a 5-month streak. Cast Iron Pan, thank you for resubscribing. That flew by fast. Love watching you, Hannah. Thank you. Freaking Out 99 says, who wants to bet these people only try to take upscale homes? Oh, for sure. Why are you going to take a terrible crack house, Why are you going to take a tiny house? You don't want to do that. Doodleburb says, just got here. Hi, Hannah. I'm liking your hair today. Thank you. It's kind of disheveled, but I appreciate that. Dr. Gamble with that meme. That was excellent. Thank you. Rublum, thank you for resubscribing for 2 months. Hi, I'm here to repossess the channel. Oh no, that's a very real thing. Jouster Zen with 200 bits says, hey Hannah, I've been getting some good paychecks lately, so here's some biddies. Thank you. Antipodian Squid with 5,000 bits. Wowzers, Squid. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Kirthan with 100 bits says, my fiance Jessica says, hi Hannah. Hi Jessica. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits. Thank you. C. Wyatt with 200 bits says, hex yeah. Unix Eunuch says, Jesus, I feel inadequate after Squid donated. Dingo Subman with 20 bits. We all feel inferior next to the majesty that is Squid. Let's be real. Doodleburb, thank you for gifting a sub. Daddy Sume, with a link to their website, I think, but I can't click on it because it's too far up in the chat. If you repost that, I will go check it out. Doodlebird with 50 bits says, choo choo hype. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits, thank you. Harry K5 with 20 bits says, so sovereign citizens are also tax dodgers who aren't smart and can't afford an account in the Cayman Islands or Switzerland. Got it. Yeah, basically. But the thing is, often I think sovereign citizens don't tend to be, the most well-off people. I'm not saying they're poor or anything, but, they're not making bank, typically. So, like, they're not paying taxes, and they're probably not going to get, like, immediately audited, because, it might cost more money to audit them than it would be to just, let them do it for a while, but I'm sure they'll get hit eventually, and it'll hurt a lot. Verbutin says, this is wild. It really is. Earnfist with 100 bits, thank you. Asosh Garbage with 200 bits. Bardlock Moses with 100. That XY Girl with... That XY Girl, thank you for gifting a sub. Doom Smoothie with 20 bits. C. Wyatt with 110 bits. Antipodian Squid gifting 5 subs to the community after dropping 5,000 bits. What a wild person. Verboten with 30 bits says, isn't this also like really risky because they're black? I mean, how often does the police get called on them? Yeah. I wouldn't mess with the police, and I'm white. In fairness, I'm also trans, which the police aren't, you know, the biggest fan of necessarily either, but, you know. Thank you, Daddy Sume. This is their website, I guess. Oh, boy. I gotta open a window. It's getting warm in here. Sorry, this is probably gonna blow out the camera because of how bright it is outside because of all the snow. I live in a white void. Did you all know that? I just live in the internet. It's not a... I don't live in the physical world. It's just a white void out there. Daddy Sume says, this contains swears, but you need to listen to it. Are they okay swears? Are they like... are they slurs? As long as they're not slurs, it's fine. Let's take a look at this website first. Let me know if they're slurs. Moorish American Consulate. I can tell there aren't a lot of Moorish web designers. No slurs? Good. I assumed not. I didn't think you'd send me something with slurs. I just wanted to make sure. Supreme Judiciaries. So these are members of their organization. Of course, you got the fezzes and stuff. Do they just have a... proclaim? Use the tutorial below to complete the documents. Oh, they had a loading bar and everything. Ooh, the United States thing, the North America thing just like stays there. Look at that. Someone learned HTML. A black ink pen, red ink pen, and red stamp pad will be required to execute the process. Please pay close attention to details to ensure accuracy. Failure to do so can result to incorrect submissions that lead to rejected submissions. I don't think you gotta worry about it. They're gonna get rejected either way. Tells them where to go to get the documents. Important information, name correction, proclamation, and judicial notice. Before choosing your free national name, it's important to make a few points to make your selection and sealing of your paperwork and receipt of your nationality cards as a seamless operation. Do not select a title such as King, Queen, Prince, Empress, Emperor, etc. as part of your free national name. This is called a pre-title, and there are no pre-titles in a free national name appellation. For example, King Baylor Rahim Bey may be what you call yourself, but your actual paperwork should say Baylor Rahim Bey. Do not select a free national name that includes multiple titles, i.e. Baylor Rahim El Bey or El Baylor Rahim Bey. In these examples, the free national name should be either Baylor Rahim El or Baylor Rahim Bey. Oh, look at how official this document looks. It's got watermarks. Can I click? Oh, man. Make it bigger. Come on. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it bigger on here. Okay. Moorish National Republic, Federal Government Societies, Republic
There's nothing funny about
that's
the
hard to
tools of
read.
Capitalism.
I can't read these. I'm sorry. I can read this part, though. Free national appellation. I'm not sure what appellation means in this context. Being a direct descendant of the ancient Canaanites, Moabites, assert my birthright claim of right and of title standing squarely and duly affirmed, I do declare and proclaim upon divine law, upon nature's law, upon universal law, upon my Moorish birthrights, upon international law, and by treaty and constitutional law, declare and proclaim and say, this is supposed to be your name, being previously misclassified and misidentified by persons of the United States Society, USA, doing business at North America, was falsely designated under the colorable ward worship name, and then this is your birth name. there, that cooled it down. And here, do hereby refute said misclassifications and frauds, making it known to the public and publish my corrected free national appellation, attribute and Title I, declare and affirm my true proper person state. All of this is nonsense. This is not a legal document. That's not how any of this works. And then they think you need to fingerprint it. That's a sovereign citizen thing, too. They think you need to fingerprint documents with your signature in red ink to stand in for blood. I've seen actual ones who think it needs to be real blood, but most of them think it just needs to be red ink. Very interesting. Nonsense. I'm not even going to call it a legal document. It's just a nonsense piece of paperwork they put together. What are these? Hold on, let me see what these... New York Territory. I don't know what these are going to be. Birth records. Pending update. Guess that's not done yet. Michigan. Northeastern Amexum Territories and Dominions. Proudly servicing the territories and dominions formerly known as Michigan. Oh, I didn't get the memo that my state changed its name. Formerly Michigan. Let's look at this one. Moorish National Republic, Federal Government, Societies, Republic. True and de jure, natural peoples, heirs of the land. Lawful decree by the de jure organic grand supreme judicial body for the Moorish American Consulate. We, the de jure organic grand supreme judicial body by the delegation of authority from Emir Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, hereby announce this lawful decree for the removal for the Moorish American Consulates as of 23 Dhul Qida 1441, and then some other stuff. By lawful due process from a majority vote by the de jure organic grand supreme judicial body. This is lawful. This lawful due process was grounds for removal concerning contract breaches of grand supreme judiciary and council commission. It's just nonsense. I understand kind of what they're saying. It's them declaring sovereignty from the United States. But it doesn't mean anything. You cannot just write these things down and sign them and act like they're real. You should probably go to their YouTube channel. De jure organic. Subscribe, videos, bookmark, sovereign citizen stuff. Let's see what their recent videos are. Moorish American government activates gold-backed treasury with 666 trillion in sovereign dollarium.
Islam to all. Ego sum like tajiri bay, in propria persona sujuris, in proprio solo, and in proprio hare.
Okay, I'll watch your video very quickly, Taddy Sume.
Oh, these, my boobies, my massive fucking titties, my super stuffed milkies, my honker bonker doinky boinkies, my fabric stretching, wind flapping, gravity welling sex mounds? You mean these super duper ultra hyper goddamn motherfucking tits?
Speaking of which, I think, and it's Twitch, but I think this shirt makes my boobs look pretty good. You can't see them because they're like below the frame, but I'm a fan of this shirt. I feel like because in all the videos and stuff, typically, like, I'm framed like this and you usually can't see below here. I feel like you people don't realize how much, like, chest growth I've had since I started hormones. It's pretty crazy. If we ever see each other in person, I'll show you guys, but I can't on Twitch. Not like without a shirt. I just mean I'll be like, "Hey, look at the titties."
We are the original indigenous, sovereign, natural, divine, Moorish American nationals who are the Moorish National Republic federal government and the Moorish American Consulate. We are Decidans Spiritum, returned Alive.
Just stand up. I'm not wearing a bra, so I think that would be a bad idea.
We are the ministers, creditors, executors, claimants, trustees, beneficiaries, and heirs of our own vast estate. We are our mother, father, and descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. We are in the jurisdiction of our ancestral inherited estate at this time and at all points in time. We have declared peace on our land at all times. We are exercising all of our sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time. Nothing in this lawful spoken affidavit, nor any other documents, nor verbal declarations or proclamations shall be construed as consent to any other jurisdiction than in the jurisdiction of our ancestral inherited estate. It is with great pride that we, the original indigenous sovereign Moorish National Republic...
You're not indigenous! Nor am I, for that matter. Indigenous Americans are considered people who are, Native Americans. People of the various tribes of North America.
Federal government proclaim and declare to all of the earth that we have, by our divine will and sovereign autographs, embanked, made safe, and made unhurt all land, all natural resources, all universal commerce, and all who consent to Moorish subject status. We have, by this spoken, published, and written affidavit, nationalized our vast estate.
People really need to figure out what affidavits are, because if I've learned anything from, the election conspiracies and stuff, no one seems to understand the limits of the authority of an affidavit. Everyone thinks, I swore in an affidavit, that means it's true, okay? No, that does not. That's not what that is. The assertions made in an affidavit can still be questioned. They can still be found to be incorrect. Just because you swore a thing doesn't mean it's true.
How have we accomplished this? We have placed a Moorish American Treasury sovereign credit instrument in the sum certain amount of 666 trillion gold Moorish sovereign dollarium on the public record.
Well, I declare that I have 11 quintillion dinar, okay? So, beat that.
As of...
You did not miss Marcel, no.
Of August the 2nd, 2019, and September 11th, 2019. The intent of the sovereign credit instrument is to state and declare that we are the creditors to all of the nations of the earth. We are the heirs to all land.
Did they literally just, try and claim all the money in the world as theirs? Is that the intent here? What did they say, 666 trillion? Which seems like an arbitrary number. I don't even think there's that much money in the world, is there? How much money is in the world? There's approximately $37 trillion in circulation. Money in the form of investments, derivatives, and cryptocurrencies exceeds 1.2 quadrillion. So if we're talking about cash, this is actually US dollars, 37 trillion. But if we account for investments and stuff, it's 1.2 quadrillion. So they're accounting for basically half the money in the world. They think half the money in the world belongs to them.
All natural.
Wait, is a million trillion a quadrillion? Am I right? Am I wrong? Someone let me know.
Resources and all universal commerce. All universal commerce shall peacefully resume by, with, and for the sovereign
1,000 trillion? Gotcha.
Moorish Americans who are the law and who are the government. We have accomplished this by making several actions and publications.
So they want half the money in the world, basically. 666. Do you think they picked that number, 666, because it's roughly half of the money in the world? Do you think one person in the group was like, we're going to take all 1.2 quadrillion of the money in the world, And then one of them was like, all right, guys, let's not be greedy. Let's leave half for everyone else.
On the public record in a unified one voice by all Moorish American nationals. We have declared and proclaimed with one voice our universal sovereignty over our vast estate and the ancient Moorish American Al-Moroccan Empire. We have activated the Moorish American Consulate as commissioned by the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government, and said commissioning date is May 18th, 2018. We have notified all doing business as de facto governors, in all capital letters, President of the United States, in all capital letters, Attorneys General, U.S. Secretaries of State, Administrative Clerks, Clerks of Court, Attorneys, Archdioceses, and all doing business under foreign British titles in all capital letters.
It's all nonsense. What are their most popular videos? This is a video from 2 years ago. Is there anywhere they're interacting with anyone? Because that would be wonderful. I would love to see that. No, looks like they all just talk to the camera. It's kind of a shame. I do kind of want to see them interacting with each other at minimum, though. I think that would be interesting.
And the eggs, hatched or not, right? Now, the birth certificate is a claim on the hatched eggs, or those that are fertilized. The marriage certificate is the claim on the eggs unfertilized.
No, no, it's not.
Right? This is so that any issue from the womb is already claimed by the Church of Rome, the Pope, who declared himself substitute for the Nazarene or for Jesus.
Oh God, that's a thing I've never gotten into when we talk about Moors. Some Moorish people, some people who are in the Moorish group that call themselves Moorish citizens, they believe that Albions, which is what they call white people, Albions, they believe that Albions are all ruled by the Pope. They believe that the Pope is in charge of all white people. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, it doesn't matter if you're religious, it doesn't... They think the Pope is in charge, and the Pope controls all Albions. So, I forgot about that.
And declares the authority over all life. And so, the church is claimed to be your mother. So she can kill the children or not. This is where Roe versus Wade comes in. Where they authorize sacrificing the children because they needed more hamburgers.
So don't do the marriage license, is what you're saying?
The marriage license is the bank bond. Yeah, bank bond against the uterus. Now,
How does
There's
she
nothing
unite?
funny about the tools of
How do
capitalism.
you unite with one?
now, hold on. Why did I call you in here?
Right?
Now, this is the point.
There's nothing funny about the tools
We
of
abandoned
capitalism.
our venue
Yep.
or our side of the chessboard. They're playing both sides. This is what the transmitting utility is. Transmitting utility is them reaching across the board playing your parts because you ain't playing your own part. And then when you do, you're doing it in their name, so you still mortgage.
Just an hour and a half of nonsense. Oh, here's the thing on the Pope. General Civil Orders letter to Obama from Pope Francis. This will go into the Pope thing a little bit more.
Peace, 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 family. Islam, peace and love. I'm actually doing this live video because I actually promised to do it a couple of days ago, and I got, stuck in a vortex. I get stuck in a vortex at home with my mommy duties a lot of times, and I can't really focus, and I'm not even going to put that in the ethers. I am training myself to focus a little bit more when I am home with my family because it can be a very overwhelming time. The reasons why I wanted to kind of do this video was to go over the Pope's letter to President Barack H. Obama, and it was publicized through the, I guess, social media, I think about a year after it actually was created, and that was July 4th, 2014. Okay. Information hasn't gotten out to the public because of, obviously, a lot of us are just too busy focusing on the wrong things, and because we're not very studied.
Oh God, turn off your notifications, lady.
Really think that we don't know how to fix our problems, when we really do know how to fix our problems if we just sit down, reflect, meditate a little bit, and get rid of that FEAR, fear. False evidence appearing real. And when I first was given that key...
Someone asks, they do realize that Catholicism is a multinational organization that lets all ethnicities join, right? That gets into the sort of nitty-gritty of a problem with some. And I'm not saying every person who identifies as a Moorish citizen is this, but a lot of the Moorish citizens I've seen make basically everything about race to an unhealthy level, to like a how do I put this? Almost to like a level of like, and this is so weird to say, like black nationalism, where they think like if you're a white person, you're a piece of shit, and like that's your main characteristic. And like, obviously we talk about racial stuff on this show a lot and how racial dynamics affect day-to-day life, especially in America, which is a real thing. But like, they have some pretty yikesy opinions, and basically they categorize people not by, how do I put this? Like, they will call people from Asia Manchurians. They're very focused on people's race and how that somehow has an inherent meaning to them. Not that there's some sociological dynamic with people's races, but they think it's like intrinsic qualities that people have, whether you're what they would call a Moor or an Albion or a Manchurian, which is what they, you know, call people from Asia. So, it's, you know, it's not good. It's not good.
To that knowledge, I was blown away. The fears that we hold on to are the very things and the very reasons why we're stagnant in our progression as Moorish nationals, as well as individuals within our own journeys through self. There's an actual individual.
Do they believe races are created kinds? Oh boy, that. Oh God. Have I talked about this? Again, I'm not sure how prevalent this belief is in Moorish circles. I don't know if these particular people believe this, but I saw at least one Moorish citizen claim that, okay, they claimed that the only race that existed at one point was black people, which technically is true in the sense that, like, evolutionarily, like everyone comes from Africa and you know, dark-skinned, and then as human beings spread out, less melanin became something that evolved. So that's true. But what they say is that they didn't evolve. They claim that they claim that basically, and again, I'm not saying these people do, I'm saying I've heard this from other Moorish citizens in debates and stuff, believing that black people created white people and other races in, like, a laboratory via genetic manipulation and, like, created white people to be their slaves. So, you know, that's something you might come across if you know, dally in Moorish citizen circles occasionally. Yeah, Daddy Sume has a link. Here we go. In the beliefs of the Nation of Islam, Yaqub, and again, this is people who are presumably both Moorish citizens and in the Nation of Islam. Okay? I'm not saying all Moorish citizens believe this, was a black scientist who lived 6,600 years ago and began the creation of the white race, white people. He is said to have done this through a form of selective breeding referred to as grafting while living in the island of Patmos. The Nation of Islam theology states that Yaqub is the biblical Jacob. The story has caused disputes within the NOI during its history. Under its current leader, Louis Farrakhan, the NOI continues to assert that the story of Yaqub is true, claiming the modern science is consistent with it. Yeah. The story of Yaqub originates in the writings of Wallace Fard Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam. In his doctoral Q&A pamphlet, Lost Found Muslim, Lesson Number 2, it was developed by his successor Elijah Muhammad in several writings, most fully in a chapter entitled The Making of Devil, in his book Message to the Black Man in America. Yaqub is said to have been born in Mecca at a time when 30% of original black people were dissatisfied. He was a member of the Meccan branch of the tribe of Shabazz. Yaqub acquired the nickname Big Head because of his unusually large head and his arrogance. At age 6, he discovered the law of attraction and repulsion by playing with magnets made of steel. Okay. This insight led to a plan to create new people. How would magnets... What? He saw an unlike human being made to attract others who could, with knowledge of tricks and lies, rule the original black man. By the age of 18, he had exhausted all knowledge in the universities of Mecca. He then discovered that the original black man contained both a black germ and a brown germ. With 59,999 followers, he went to an isle in the Aegean Sea called Palan, which Muhammad identifies with Patmos. Once there, he established a despotic regime and set about breeding out black traits, killed all darker babies, and created a brown race after 200 years. Yaqub died at the age of 152, but his followers carried on his work. After 600 years of deliberate eugenics, the white race was created. The brutal conditions of their creation determined the evil nature of the new race. By lying to the black mother of the baby, the lie was born into the very nature of the white baby, and murder for the black people was also born in them, or made by nature a liar and murderer. The new race traveled to Mecca, where they caused so much trouble they were exiled to West Asia and stripped of everything but the language. Once there, they were roped in to keep them out of paradise. The soldiers patrolled the border along with swords to prevent the devils from crossing. For many centuries, they lived a barbaric life, surviving naked in caves and eating raw meat, but eventually, they were drawn out of the caves by Moses, who taught them to wear clothes. Moses tried to civilize them, but eventually gave up and blew up 300 of the most troublesome of them with dynamite! What? Didn't Alfred Nobel invent dynamite in, like, the 1800s? What the fuck? However, they had learned to use tricknology to usurp power and enslave the black population, bringing the first slaves to America. According to the autobiography of Malcolm X, all races other than black race were byproducts of Yaqub's, spelled Yaqub in the biography work, as the red, yellow, brown races were created during the bleaching process. However, the black race includes Asian peoples considered to be shared ancestors of the Moors. Whites were defined as Europeans. Elijah Muhammad also asserts that some of the new white race, quote, tried to graft themselves back into the black nation, but they had nothing to go by. As a result, they became guerrillas. A few were lucky enough to make a start and got as far as what you call the guerrilla. In fact, all of the monkey family are from this 2,000-year history of the white race in Europe. According to NOI doctrine, Yaqub's progeny were destined to rule for 6,000 years before the original black people of the world regained dominance, a process that began in 1914. So some of this ideology I've seen contorted and used in different ways within Moorish citizen groups. Again, I'm not saying this is necessarily the predominant belief in Moorish citizen groups, but I've certainly heard it espoused. So, yeah. Bad stuff. Bad stuff.
Individual on Facebook. I posted like a couple of his videos. On YouTube. I posted a couple of his videos because he is so inspiring. His name is Ralph Smart. I think he domiciled somewhere in the continent of Africa, but I can't be sure. His YouTube subscriber channel is Divine Waters. I can't necessarily remember, but check my timeline. It has the actual couple videos that I posted that he has.
Hi, Bullet Bill. I'm doing well. How are you?
He's been out for quite a while, actually, and the information that he gives is so beautiful. I mean, his spirit alone is magnetized. I mean, he has so much positive energy. I can't even contain my emotions when I'm listening to him. And I can honestly say today, if not maybe a couple of months ago, I saw one video of his, but today I had a couple suggestions or recommendations, and it brought me to his YouTube page. So check him out. It's really pretty cool videos. You know, I wouldn't post anything that I haven't first reviewed sometimes before posting it. But the reasons why I wanted to do this Facebook Live is because I think people are scared to study or have a lot of fears and anxieties that...
Oh my god, if you're gonna record a video, turn your phone off. Oh god, at least don't set your phone right next to the microphone. Oh, it is the phone. She's recording with her phone. Duh. Turn the notifications off if you're going to record with your phone.
Or when you're even considering or pondering it. And because we've been so trained to not do these things, it becomes very difficult to actually do them now. So studying as well as researching has become such a stigma in a lot of people's world. We can't even get it out of our own issues because this is something that we're just not comfortable with, and anything that we're not comfortable with or used to, we don't do. So I'm doing these videos to get people at least encouraged to start to read some of the things that are out there and ignore a lot of the other things that are there to just deceive and to keep you in a lowly state of fear. False education.
Get to the Pope.
False evidence. He actually did a Facebook Live that you don't have currently are going to come and open up this U.S. Marshal Service. Tag that into the next videos and give it to the people. So anyway, to the letter, because I can go on. I'm a Sagittarius, but like to talk. Civil orders, July 4th, 2014, issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Service, the Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Services. These gigantic American states of the Union, known as the United States of America, major, exercising plenary civil powers upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham, that's an actual person, look him up, to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic, which is called the GAR, Grand Army of the Republic, and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and with their full support. Should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including but not limited to the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, etc. This document just told you they are not under the federal government. It just told you that. General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owed to the United States of America, major, stationed in North America, and shall join them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic, the GAR. All forces of air, land, sea are to be employed. Any costs and losses suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All efforts shall be AR, the Grand. Understand the nature of all caps United States Service Corporation under arms, which can that be fraud or against American state citizens, American states and American state citizens, are revenued at U.S. corporate citizen status. Think for a minute. And he really thought I was asking him a trick question. And this is how they're going to Puerto Rico with man.
Does she think this letter that's talking about the United States military or something is from the Pope? Because the Pope doesn't do that shit. Commands to Donald J. Trump.
So let me get acclimated. Let me get it together. You've been on my Facebook Live as President of the United States Service Corporation. This lawful command is to be distributed to each and all of the agents and principals immediately. That means as soon as this broadcast is over. We are the Moorish American Nationals, in propria persona, sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heritis. We are the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Sovereign, de jure Moorish Americans and descendants of the pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. We are the judges.
If you were doing a proclamation to who you thought was like the president of the United States, and you thought this was going to be a proclamation that's like history changing, and it's like, President, we demand you give us all our land back, wouldn't you tell the person in the background, like, hey, Carl, maybe don't make your sandwich right now. I can hear you rattling some jars. You're getting your jam and your peanut butter, and I can hear you opening the bag for the bread. Maybe do it in the other room. I'd appreciate it. I'm changing the world here, okay?
Of the Moorish American Consular Court, the Moorish American Consulate.
Oh, they're making food for the kid, I think, in the background.
The Moorish National Republic Federal Government, and the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World. We, the de jure Moorish Americans, are exercising all of our rights at all times and in all times, as we are the law and we are the government here in Morocco. This affidavit is to inform you all corporate citizens doing business as clerks, judges, attorneys, policy enforcers, sheriffs, and all others doing business as law enforcement on our land that your corporate trusteeship has been terminated effective January 9th, 2019. I'm going to say that again. You've been terminated from all of your capacity, every piece of it.
How'd that work out?
January 9th, 2019. We, the Moorish American Nationals, are the administrators, executors, claimants, creditors, heirs, beneficiaries, and trustees, one to one another, of our own vast estate, jurisdiction. The only you will say nothing.
Okay, I think that's about all of this channel I can deal with for the day. I just... I don't understand. This video is entitled Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Albions, you have to give the Moors back the porridge. Give them their porridge! Justice for porridge!
Oh, I done started a live. I didn't even know I did. What's wrong? You got to get your ears off. Islam, how are you? How'd you travel down from parties entering into the contract? A through F or something. Autograph, even though it says sign. That's the wrong answer.
I missed the outside. Okay, that's enough of them for the day. Interesting subset of sovereign citizens. I don't know. It basically just mixes sovereign citizen stuff with ethno-nationalism, and I don't like either of those things. It's like the Reese's peanut butter cup of awful shit I don't like. Okay. Let's do bit messages and then we'll move on. Unix became the stream boss. Nice. MMO Addicted to 20 bits says, are we going to go through all of it? I'm curious about their paperwork. Well, we went through some of it. Overprotected Atheist says, Hannah, you're a big part of my deconversion and why I decided to help others like me on YouTube just like you did. Just wanted to show you some love for what you've done for me and others who left the church. Well, I'm glad we were able to help you, Jake and I. Massive Robertson, thank you for resubscribing for 2 months in a row. Never tried this sub-anniversary thing before, and also, hello. MMO Addicted with 20 bits. I've seen people add blood to their red paint for miniatures, so there's a lot of folks with a blood fetish around. Doodleburb says, they're over 9,000! Earnfist, thank you for resubscribing with 2 months. Daddy Sume, not cause it's 'cause it's the number of the beast. Do you think so? Maybe. In regard to the 666 trillion number they cited. MMO Addicted with 20 bits says, fun fact, there are Polish sovereign citizens who think they're descended from Attila the Hun, and that Poland was once an empire covering most of Eurasia. What is with these people all around the world? It's so weird. Luna Linnell, thank you. Luna Luniel, I think that's right. Thank you for following. Rain Dean, thank you for resubscribing with a 5-month streak. You mean you don't get your daily orders from our leader, the Pope? No, I must have missed that memo. Lily Loves Stuff, thank you for resubscribing for 7 months. Now I want to do a deep dive into Nation of Islam stuff. That might be a fun stream. Harry K5 with 20 bits says, they do realize that Catholicism is a multicultural organization and that lets all ethnicities join, right? I don't know. I don't know what they believe. Daddy Sume, there's the link to the Nation of Islam thing we looked at. Thank you for that. Lily Loves Stuff with 25 bits says, it's because white people were made by an evil mad scientist. Y'all need to read up on your Nation of Islam. Harry K5 says, this gives me Scientology vibes. The Rational Dove, thank you for the bits. Bardlock Moses with 50 bits. How much dynamite does it take to split the Red Sea? Too much. C. Wyatt says, welp, glad we chose Moorish first. Tucker White says, the Moors have inspired me to do this. Quote, as of this moment, February 11th, 2021, all of the Tinfoil Tuesday bingo winners are terminated. All of the Tinfoil Tuesday subscriptions are belong to me. It's official now. I can't do anything about it. Tuba Steve, thank you for hosting. Tucker White says, I only take my orders from George Soros, blessed be his name. Okay. So believe it or not, this video is going to be a little bit chiller. Marcel has this bad habit of doing really, really intense, threatening, angry videos with racial slurs, and then he'll delete those videos, which he did. You saw me cover those videos a while back. He used some racial slurs, you know, the big one. He used all sorts of derogatory language, was telling people he hopes bad things happen to them. He was doxing people, basically freaking out. And in this video, he's doing what he always does. He deleted those previous videos, and now this video is all about how peaceful and wonderful Marcel is. So we're on an upcycle right now in Marcel's mental health period. Seems a little, and again, like I've said many times, everything I say in these videos is just my personal opinion. It's not any sort of medical diagnosis. I'm not making any claims about him. I'm just stating my opinion. And Marcel, I do not consent to anything you wish to do with me. In terms of liens or whatever. What was I going to say? He seems a little manic depressive. I don't know. He's pretty with his mood. So let's take a look at how he's doing, you know, when he's feeling good.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It is Marcel. I am on here to do a very positive video. I am.
Hold on. I should probably queue up one of the previous ones. Just in case. Where did I save the bleeped out? Oh, God. I'm glad my downloads folder isn't up on the screen, because in my downloads folder for a thing Jake and I were working on, we had to find for the thumbnail for a video, we had to find Rule 34 Scooby-Doo stuff. So in the back and forth that we all had as a group, this was after D&D, we were sending each other Scooby-Doo Rule 34. So there's some explicit Scooby-Doo porn material in my folder right now. My friends group is pretty great. Where did I save that Marcel video? Right, but once I produced it, where did I put it? Did I put it under Twitch stuff? Documents. Share it on Discord? No! Guys, bonk, bonk, bonk. You're on the internet. If you want to look at things on the internet, go watch them.
Hi everybody, Marcel the Family Beset. Peace.
Okay, so this is just, let me make this a display capture so you can see this real quick. This is how Marcel was when he wasn't feeling so good a couple of weeks off.
Mayor Society, this is going to be probably the most genuine message I've ever done. I fucking hate all of you. I fucking hate you. Ever since I was a little kid, you guys picked on me, you were mean to me. When I was a teenager, I found out you're all fucking stupid. I became an entrepreneur and found out that you guys are all dumbasses. You get jobs and make other people rich while you stay poor. You pay taxes. You don't give a fuck. You're horrible, bad fucking people. Bad fucking people. And I used to be one of you. That's how come I fucking know. You're more worried about tax write-offs than you are that you sold your fucking kid. Who I used to work, or who I used to know as a teenager, you'd rather work for the Canada Revenue Agency than do the right thing. Don't give a fuck about anyone but yourselves because you're fucking alcoholics. To all the people who criticize me, you're fucking and I'm gonna let the Freemasons fucking burn you to the ground. I am glad the elites are gonna fucking kill you all. I'm staying independent as Peacemaker Society, but I fully support them fucking murdering you people. I will have nothing to do with it because I don't kill people. I'm peaceful. But after 12 years of trying to bring you guys freedom, fuck every one of you who doesn't learn. You're about to be fucking murdered. Everyone you know is about to be fucking murdered, and you deserve it, you piece of shit. And I'm fucking glad they're killing you so I don't have to. If I didn't have my oath, a lot of you would be fucking dead already. You actually wouldn't, because I'm not psycho like that, but you fucking deserve it. And that's why through my life I intimidated the fuck out of all of you so much. Because fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck everybody, you pieces of shit. To all the people I taught and you didn't found your own society, fuck you too. To my critics, fuck you. I'd kill you before you'd talk shit to me to my face, motherfucker. And I wouldn't kill you, but I'd hit you in the face a few times. Fucking for sure, before my oath. Now I have my oath, but you know what? I'm going to decide what I want to do with that. Peacemaker Society is an experiment. It still exists. I'm not shutting it down, but we're closed to all of you. I'm not teaching a motherfucker who doesn't pay us a shit ton of money because the rest of you deserve to fucking die. If you have no money, you're a fucking loser. You deserve to die. If you're fat, you're a genetic defect. If you're a fuck you from God. If you're worshiping at a church that's a corporation, fuck you from God. Fuck every piece of shit loser who supports this corona bullshit. Fuck all of you who don't understand your own sovereignty and spit on God. Fuck you from the bottom of my fucking heart till the day I die. I don't give a fuck about helping any of you anymore. You're on your fucking own. And everything I do works. I have bank accounts. We're unregistered, unincorporated. So if any of you think I'm quitting because of me and this not being real, it's fucking real. And I'm taking it off the market so you fucking die. So you fucking die! I fucking hate you. You're a piece of shit. God scorns you, and I hope you burn in fucking hell. You'll notice this is the only video on my website. You're all fucking done. I have all the information. You want to pay me 10 grand plus? I'll pay you, or you can pay me and I'll help you for money. Because the rest of you deserve to fucking die. I don't care if you have a good heart or bad heart. You're fucking useless. You're a genetic defect, and I'm glad the system's gonna fucking kill you. So unless you have money, don't call me ever fucking again. We're changing our numbers. We're changing everything. We're very private going forward because I'm gonna revel in them fucking murdering you. The legal system's killing you, and I'm fucking glad. Freemasons, Illuminati, great job, even though you're fucking criminals I don't support. These assholes deserve murder. Fucking kill them. I'm not fighting you guys anymore. I don't give a fuck what you do to them. Have a great day, everybody. Cheers. And Freemasons, I'm sure you're real happy to hear that. My family lines are Freemasons and shit, I'm sure.
It's almost over, and we'll get to the new one. I just want context for people who missed this.
I'm not in favor of my family. I hate them as much as I hate citizens, and I don't honestly support the genocidal agenda, but citizens, you fucking deserve it. Enjoy getting fucking murdered. You dumb motherfucker. And if you're a citizen, you are a fucking... The rest of your life, you're a fucking...
Racial slurs.
Bye. I don't associate with any color, motherfuckers. Sovereign, bitch! Fuck you! And for 12 years, it's been my pleasure to shit all over all of you because I'm better than you. And I always fucking will be. Bye.
He rattled off like 6 N-words in like 30 seconds. That's... Don't do that. Anyway, so that's how he was a couple weeks ago. He's since deleted those videos, and now he's in a good mood. So let's see the juxtaposition between that and now.
I'm moving past the past and the negativity, and I'm moving into sharing some love. Through my whole life, what's gotten me through is that I'm full of love. Now, I know from a lot of my past videos, you probably couldn't tell that. But within that, I'm not doing this video for people who are against me. I'm doing this for the wonderful guy I just had an hour-and-a-half conversation with yesterday, who knows exactly what's going on. I'm doing this video for Lorna, the law expert, who I speak to on a semi-regular basis now, who's involved or aware of groups that are getting 70 attorneys thrown in prison. My understanding is, and I haven't verified this, but I've been told that the Bar Association in Washington had their charter collapsed.
You think the Bar Association in, where did you say? Did you say DC or New York?
Told that the Bar Association in Washington had their...
You think the Bar Association in Washington had their charter collapse?
Charter collapsed. I've also, in the last number of weeks, had it proven exactly how to do common law grand juries to hold the legal system accountable, as well as entering those foreign judgments into legal courts, so that the legal courts have to enforce the foreign judgment of the common law and natural law courts.
Okay, so what he's saying here is he's basically convening his own grand juries. They're not grand juries, just like he's not a chief justice. He has no law training. He's saying that he's convening his own private grand juries where he's having people charge officials, judges, cops, mayors with whatever crime he thinks. For the record, he thinks that, like, COVID restrictions are genocide. He thinks wearing a mask is a genocide. So these are presumably the kind of things he's charging people with, and he's claiming that he is trying to make these non-official grand jury indictments somehow official by filing them in actual federal court. Good luck, Marcel. I don't think that's going to work out for you, but, you know, you can certainly waste the paper and time.
Now, other people are doing this in the States. We have the power to do this anytime we're ready. And really what this video is about is my love. I'm going to talk to you guys about what I love in life. Why the heck do I do this work? Why do I try so hard? Why do I get so animated? And the reason is I'm full of love, like so much love. So I'm going to walk you guys through what I love in my life. When I was a kid, I loved spending, you know, every second or third day talking with my mother for hours and hours and hours. That beautiful woman taught me how a woman's...
Is it just me, or does it look like he has like a filter on that makes him look cel-shaded?
Mind works. She opened up to me about the problems she had with my stepdad.
Like all the lines are like thicker than they should be.
Child, so I was able to understand that growing up, to not be that for the people I date. And if occasionally I get like that, at least I recognize that I'm the one who needs to change, and I alter it. So people know I'm very, very in love. The woman that I love and I have been together almost 6 years. We're going to be formally doing a ceremony to be married under our private law, not legally, but it will be legally valid, but all rights reserved under our own society laws. Her having her own and me having my own, which I love. And also just the woman I'm with. The reason that I even have that amazing of a woman is because of the work that I've done and learning my rights and sovereignty, as well as who I was before that. But yeah, so I'm going to kind of just re-timeline. I'm going to jump around a little bit in this. But when I was a kid, my mom was always there for me no matter what. My stepdad did drink, but if he was going to be out of line, my mom would come rushing in and save me. Like all the fury of a woman and a mama's bear, right? Like a mama bear protecting her cubs. So I always felt super, super lucky with that. And
And yeah, I moved around a lot as a kid, and what I loved about moving was it was always a new chance to start over. Prior to moving to Winnipeg when I was 14, I never lived anywhere more than 4 years, and even since moving to Winnipeg, I typically have moved multiple times a year for a very long time. So now that we have the property here,
Somebody asked, doesn't he hate his parents? According to him, his parents haven't contacted him since he's like 14 or something. Since he's a teenager. I don't know. But he does this. He goes back and forth. And someone said that I shouldn't be assuming certain mental states. You're probably correct. I shouldn't. I just think he's erratic. I'll call it erratic. His behavior's erratic. When he's in his not so great moods, he'll talk about how he hates his parents. And when he's in good moods, he'll talk about how he loves his mom very much. So it's interesting. It's very interesting how back and forth he gets about these things.
I'm loving that. That's great. And I'll just show you guys the man that makes the suit. Boom. Now, I am in my own sense, my own kind of Iron Man. I'm not at that level financially yet, and I'm not that good with tech, but definitely a stand-up self-made guy, which I all
yet. I like the implication that one day he will be a multi-billionaire like Tony Stark.
Also love. I was talking with a fan yesterday for about an hour and a half. He watches all our videos that we send. He loves them. He gets who I am. And another nice thing that I love right now is I've been around long enough. 12 years I've been putting out videos. A lot of them professional, some not, some kind of out there, some passionate, some artistic, some angry and broody. But they were all meant to be art. And what's nice is through showing you guys the variety of who and what I am, you guys know.
I don't know art, but I know what I like. I don't like this.
Me now, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want to have a part of my personality that was hidden, so as we succeeded, the powers that be that like to stop freedom could attack that. So I did what Eminem did in 8 Mile. I told you guys all the bad stuff about me up front, so now you know. But now we're going to shine the light. I'm going to shine the love I have from in me, the love that I get from God, the love I get from my woman. We're getting 2 beautiful puppies this Friday. They're gorgeous. They're a mix of German Shepherd, Boxer, Burmese, Maramos, and one other one in there, a Lab as well. And they're just gorgeous. They look like mountain dogs. Yeah, they're beautiful. Very excited to get them. So we have on the property here almost 10 acres, and they're going to get to run around all over the place. My beautiful wife, or soon-to-be wife, love of my life, is really good at raising pups. So that's awesome. We're in the process of getting everything ready for a bunch of other people to start doing their societies and branding. So we're going to be promoting that. Peacemaker Society is still going to be around, but basically one thing I'm doing out of love for all of you is, and just in my own life, so I feel good about my work and what I've done, is I'm changing the codes to be free on Peacemaker Society. I don't know how long that'll be for. But
like in the previous video, bear in mind, he said he was going to like, unless you give me a bunch of money, I will not help you. All of you people are you know, garbage and all sorts of other things, racial slurs, and I don't want to help any of you, and I hope this happens and that happens and all sorts of terrible things. And in this video, he's like, no, actually, I'm gonna make it all free for everyone, and you know, it's just like, it's Whiplash, the person.
But right now I'm in a feeling of goodwill, so it may very well be permanent. I've never needed that to make money. As an entrepreneur, I feel that it has a lot of value. The legal system, if you're going to open a society or a non-governmental organization, a lawyer will charge you about $70,000, somewhere in there. And
the property thing's definitely real. He has videos where he walks around the property. I'll show you. Hold on. Wait, hold on. They're doing construction or renovations or something.
Well, we have started demo and renovation. The people who built this place built it to American standards, and those do not work in Canada. So it was leaking, so the insulation all had to be ripped out, and we were re-leveling the house. I found a really... Well, one of my bros, he's an awesome repair guy, so he and I are going to be banging it out. And we're going to be lifting up that corner. And that's where the wood fireplace goes. And, gifts.
Unless he's literally just walking around an abandoned property, but I don't think so. There actually is like construction stuff sitting there. So I don't think so. I think he's actually renovating this stuff. You know, good luck. Big renovations are a pain in the ass, and I hope, you know, I hope they work out.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So I'm giving you guys basically a $50,000, $70,000 gift, and that's not even including what it's worth to you.
He's so magnanimous.
What are you paying taxes? A lot. It gets you out of taxes. Legitimately. I'm not in jail. I never will be. I don't pay tax anymore, and I love that. It gets you out of legal debt.
You ever just admit to crimes on camera?
That's
always a good move.
You have no obligation to fraud. It's really cool. And again, if the system were set up honestly, you would be bound to those agreements, but in contract law, there has to be a valid agreement. No valid agreement equals no contract, equals no obligation, equals kiss it. Anyway, this isn't about technical anything. I'm talking about what I love in my life, what has been amazing. So obviously as a kid, my mom was the big deal for me. And then also I was very romantic. I got to grow up every night. The reason I understood my mother being with my stepdad is they're so romantically in love. It's not even funny. They would have romantic nights all the time, beautiful music, Whitney Houston, looking in each other's eyes, gazing. And although he wasn't my favorite guy all the time, you know, I really am lucky I got to grow up and see that. So I knew what to look for. So many people out there are in loveless relationships and they're with a partner that they're not in harmony with. So I'm grateful that I got to see why it's important to have total harmony with your partner. My mom and my stepdad love each other, but there's a lot of ways they're not super compatible that unfortunately caused some strife for them. But I wish them really well. And within that, I'm grateful I got to grow up looking at love. And not everyone gets that opportunity, so I was very lucky. I also felt and love about life that I grew up thinking I was nothing when I was little. Now, it wasn't nice at the time, but what I love about it is I assumed everyone else was better than me, right? For in my core, when I met people, I was taught to love and honor who everybody is, to listen to them, to hear them out, to be supportive.
Is it wrong that you prefer him mad? I mean, it's more entertaining when he's mad. That's for sure.
I was supposed to be accepting and try and guide and love and help them in whatever way I could, and offer the best of myself to them. Be honest.
Baha asks, "Do we have total harmony in our relationship? Do I have to prove we are before I propose?" I don't know, it might help if you go on a 30-minute rant online about how much you hate everyone. It worked for Marcel, is all I'm saying, okay?
All of that. And through being that, a lot of people are cold out there, so they'll be mean to you, but it allowed me to meet the most beautiful people that exist. Then when I was 7 and 9 years old, 7 years old and then 9 years old is when my sisters were born. And they were this beautiful gift as well.
Baha has told me she already knows how she plans to propose, so that'll be interesting.
My mom taught me that they were mine to protect and love, and to make sure I did a really good job, keep them safe from the world. And my stepdad, if he was drunk, just anything. And I did that very...
No, it will not be on stream. I've been explicit. I don't want any sort of public proposal.
very well for a long time. I was a perfect older brother. That gave me a great sense of pride and beauty and all of that. Once we moved to Winnipeg and I hit teenagehood, family relationships fell apart a little bit because they didn't have the skills to really help me out. But what I loved about that is it gave me freedom at a really young age. At like 14 years old, I was out on my own living in the world. And what that gave me is it allowed me to start realizing I had talent. When I'd be out with people, other people would have ideas, good or bad, but I've always been a visionary. So I was always able to see how to make whatever their idea was happen, or to see a way out of a situation if it were bad, or to see a way into victory if we needed it. So through that, I got put and walked through all social circles. Basically, I was smart enough and became attractive enough as time went that people would accept.
It's always... the thing I like about Marcel is that whether he's in a bad mood and he's telling everyone he hates them, or if he's in a great mood and he's telling everyone how much he loves everyone, he always finds a way to throw in, like, I'm amazing, I'm like Tony Stark, I'm a miracle. I'm the greatest gift to the earth. I am so attractive and so smart and so amazing. Like, no matter what his mood is, that's the consistent common denominator, is that Marcel is fucking amazing, okay?
Anywhere I wanted to go, as long as I operated within their community standard, and I understood what that was because I operated with so many different people.
Okay, Marcel, now you seem to understand the idea of a community standard, and that different communities have different standards, and when you're within those communities, you have to abide by those standards. Otherwise, there are consequences socially for those actions. The same thing applies to the country you live in. There are certain societal standards that we have set in stone called the law, and you need to follow those laws. Otherwise, there ends up being social consequences. Do you understand? The same thing that applies, and you claimed that you were in with the Hells Angels and the Italian mob in previous videos, so let's use those for example. When you're within the Hells Angels, there are rules, and if you break those rules, you will face consequences. The same thing applies in society as a whole, and you cannot exempt yourself from those rules.
That it really opened up the world to me. You know, I understand how everyone's mind works. Whoever you are, I understand how your mind works. Whether you're a school teacher, whether you're an A dominant personality, whether you're an alpha male, whether you're feminine, whether you're gay, whether you're whatever.
The last video you literally used the F slur and told LGBT people that we're going to hell in the last video, Marcel. You said F you from God, end quote. Apparently his homophobia comes and goes too.
You know, whatever profession you're in, if you're an engineer, you know, like whoever you are, I have sat and had...
Ah, my favorite member of the LGBT community, engineers.
Lengthy, in-depth conversations with people just like you and loved it. So I appreciate the divine that exists in everybody, and that's what I'm fighting for, and really trying to encourage. So I also love that over the last number of years, I've really learned people are sacred. As much as I curse and try and wake people up, the reason I'm doing that is you guys live on Earth, which is heaven in the universe.
We live on Earth, which is heaven in the universe. We live on Earth, which is heaven in the universe. I thought repeating it would help me understand it. It did not.
Living and being alive is the most beautiful gift that could exist. Even in the times my life is the worst, like I'm going through the toughest stuff, you know, I see beauty in rainfall or a rainbow, or the way light hits water, or even a warm bath, massage. You know, never mind if you're lucky enough to have a beautiful woman, or if you're a woman with a guy, or whatever your variation is, to experience the beauty of a kiss or love or intimacy. And for a lot of
I wish I had a button where I could just play that part where he's screaming at the camera, I hope you effing die!
Especially in society work, I closed my heart up. For the first 3 or 4 years, it was very open. But then I realized the people around me, you know, Craig Clark, he hangs out with bikers. I personally am not into mechanics. I think it's greasy. It's gross to me. I don't want to hurt myself trying to fix machines. I don't like machines. So it's just really not my thing. I'm also very reliable. Other people weren't. So it really taught me as I interact with people what my value was that I brought and what they brought in value, if any. A lot of people have tons of value spiritually, but through sales and being an entrepreneur and just the realities of walking in different circles, I was able to learn that you need to add value. So what value am I adding? Am I bringing benefit to the circle, or am I bringing harm? What kind of community member am I? You know, if it's a tough community, can I fight? If it's a peaceful community, can I articulate myself instead of fight? If it's a business community, do I understand how to make money? If it's a corporate community, do they understand why what they're doing is criminal? Because corporations are a criminal fraud. I used to love corporate. I thought it was great, but
corporations are not a criminal fraud.
Now I've learned it's actually a criminal fraud the way the legal system is set up. So you have to go unincorporated association. If you don't, you're liable. And common law grand juries are coming to all the entrepreneurs out there operating a business. You are a war criminal right now operating that way. Unless you understand all rights reserved and honoring the rights of the men and women who work for you. If you're turning them into legal persons via corporate contract, you're a criminal because you're stripping them of rights. It's a fraud. It has no force of law. You're also taking their income tax money, which is actually slavery, direct tax.
Unironic taxation is slavery. I gotta make up like a sovereign citizen bingo card.
Taxation on labor is a very accurate definition of slavery. Free people don't pay income tax. We also don't pay someone else to use our own property. And again, I love that I learned that. I love this so much, you guys. And that's how come I try and give it to you guys all the time. I've made it free so many times. Our videos on YouTube have always been free. If you were to just write down what I said, you would have it all. If you want to take our course, that's good. Marcel,
can I give you a piece of advice? I have the same microphone as you. This is something we have in common, okay? Get one of these. This one's covered in cat hair because Lupine likes to rub on it. I gotta get a sticky thing and like to get this off. But they're like this is $12 on Amazon. Instantly improves your audio quality. So please get one of these.
Going to be free again. I'm taking the codes off today so you can just go and look at it. You don't even need a code. And man, there's so many things I love. When I moved to Winnipeg, although it was scary, what I loved about Winnipeg is it made me cool. Saskatchewan is a bit behind the times, or at least was when I lived there, 20, 30 years ago, 25, whatever, 27 years-ish. So when I moved to Winnipeg, there's a lot of different cultures and communities here. So, my first group of friends were a bunch of really cool Portuguese guys. Rob and Serge, love you guys, man, back in the day. And, my little buddy Serge, we were out talking and a guy went to beat him up. And I stepped in front, protected him, and we all became really tight after that for a year or two.
That's one of the 500 street fights Marcel claims to have been in.
And I just kept going through circle and circles like that over and over and over my whole life. And I met so many amazing people that for the time I knew them were amazing. Now, a lot of them grew up and became things that are for the legal system. And as I learned about that, I had to kind of, unfortunately, make them my enemy, which I also love. I love standing up. I would rather have honest disharmony than dishonest harmony. And when I was younger, I had a harmonious life of dishonesty in that if I disagreed with someone, I wouldn't get into it with them. If someone was fucking up, I wouldn't get into it with them. I wouldn't talk to them about it. I might try and give them some advice in a better direction, but I really wouldn't put myself out too much for anybody. Aside from the fact that the people I were really close with, whatever my core group was, I would risk my life for any time. An example I'll use is, actually, no, I'm not going to tell that story. It's a little too out there.
So he's told us stories about getting in 500 street fights, running with the Hells Angels, getting arrested for drug dealing, and being associated with the Italian mob. But whatever story he was about to tell was too much. I need to hear that story.
Let's just say in my history, anything that people around me needed, I was happy to do and give. And that's where, as a teenager, that's why I sold myself briefly. I thought that's how you made money. And then I realized the money I got felt so horrible, I wasted it and it wasn't any good. But again, the lesson I learned from that is to value myself. And that's where part of why I get into the whole sacredness and trying to teach you guys is, again, so you guys can save your own families. So to the people who are out there who are a little nervous about doing a society, just do it as a financial planning tool. You don't have to get into all the craziness. You don't have to get into sovereignty too much. I mean, it touches on it and you reserve your rights in sovereignty, but you can still use the legal system. With the great reset that's coming, people need that. And again, I love that. I know this. Our bank accounts can't be touched by the legal system because
they definitely can.
Sovereign association. They're not corporate. They're sovereign, which is why it matters. And that's where my status as an emperor comes in.
He's an emperor now? Ooh. Since the last video and this one, he's gotten a promotion. He used to be a chief justice, and now he's an emperor. That's good. It's always nice to see people that you know succeed, you know?
It's not that it gives me power over anybody else, but as a financial planner, I'm a competent heir. It means I own title to my stuff, which is amazing. Yeah, it's great. So through my teenage years, because I was in so many different circles, I dated hundreds of women. Like, it was beautiful. And not in a
Marcel, how many hundreds? Have you gotten into more or less street fights than you have been with women? Have you been in more women or in more street fights?
shallow way. I wasn't racking up the numbers notches in the bedpost. Sincerely, I was a beautiful lover. I was romantic. I was connecting in the soul of who I am and who they are. And I was open like that. Now, for the last probably 10 years, my heart was a little bit more closed, with exception to the woman I'm dating. She's gotten to see the beautiful sides of me. But even that has taken time to reopen to her. And one of the things that I love that I'm realizing now is I've been fucking up. Now, what I mean by that is not so much that I've been fucking up, but it's time for me to unleash my love instead of my fury. So for the last number of years, I've been unleashing my fury at the system that is, but that system is collapsing again, which I love. This great reset that they're doing, they're ending their own system, you guys.
The Great Reset is not a thing. It's conspiracy theory nonsense.
That's what's happening. Now, they're trying to take it to communism and to a slavery and a permanent state of elites owning the public. But what's great is 3 letters, 50 days, you found your own society. You are your own government, a real government. And again, I love that I know to be a government, you have to be under oath or attestation, under penalty of perjury, right? Under full commercial liability, or you're a poser. You're not law. And I was watching Rebel News the other day, and Ezra Levant, which I love a lot of his work, but he was talking about how if you stand up to the police, they're the bigger gang, they're going to kill you. First of all, they are a gang, they're criminal as a gang. So you have Nazi war criminals murdering everybody. And I want to remind everybody, the public is a much larger gang. Way bigger. Look at protests. Look how few cops there are. Look how many people there are. The problem is the public gang isn't organized. It's not standing under sovereignty or law. It's not using correct process, and it's in the streets getting rounded up. It needs to be properly funded. It needs to be organized. That's what we're in the process of helping to do with other groups. And that's another thing I love. I get almost every day someone reaching out to me. I even have people from like Hutterite colonies calling, asking what I think of the vaccine. It'll kill you. Flat out, don't get it. It's murder. It's genocide. And if you take it...
Please get the vaccine. It's perfectly fine. My grandparents got... I was texting with my grandparents earlier today. They got the vaccine like the other day. They're fine.
You're signing your own death warrant. And there's a bunch of doctors. If you go to Peacemaker Society, original live video content playlist, I have doctors and shows on there that prove what I just said. So take the time and go look at it. And if you don't, well, the people that I know are my fans definitely will. So go check that out, guys. And everyone else doesn't matter because you won't be around long anyway. So you're not going to be our problem for long anyway. Yeah, another thing that I love, I've learned approximately, I'm told 80% of the Canadian military will go militia if the Chinese government brings military here through Trudeau to try and take over.
That's a lot.
So that's really good to know. I also heard 80% of the U.S. military turn their back on Biden in the inauguration, which is great. Anyone who thinks Trump's going to be your savior, he's not. He's an elitist as well. I have hopes for him. It would be nice. But when I was a teenager, again, this is hearsay. I don't know if it's true, but I heard he slept with his daughter. I'm not a Trump fan. I respect a lot of things about him. I respect why people support him. I'm familiar with QAnon, the whole thing. But I have a lot of doubts. But again, I don't know him. If he's legit, time will tell, and it won't really matter what my opinion is, right? But again, I wouldn't. The main thing is you need to be self-governing. You need to be in charge of yourself and your own community. So, it's like Trump. He may be good, he may be not. I don't know, right? I don't know. So that's where he's not going to ever govern me. That's why I govern myself. Strangers should not govern you. And again, I love that I know that now. Public school doesn't teach that. I love that with one credit in grade 10, I teach people that went to Harvard. I teach people that have been lawyers for 20 years.
Wait, did he just admit that he dropped out of school in 10th grade?
Right? It's amazing. I also love that at 29, discovering my own sovereignty and power led me in a good direction. You know, I have a beautiful wife now. As you guys can see, this property, this house is crap. I'm not living in this one. We have another property over there, but we're renovating. It'll be nice when it's done. We've got it. It's coming.
Hold on. Is it different in Canada? Is grade 10 a different? Hold on. Canadian grade school levels? I don't know. Education in Canada. Like, does it go up to 12, like in Canada as well, like it does in the States?
The tools of capitalism.
Someone says, yep. Okay. Yep, up to 12. Cool. By the way, I'm not denigrating you if you dropped out of school for whatever reason. I just find that interesting.
But we have some other things we're doing too. So again, I love that I have that. I love that when the reset comes, as long as I have recorded title under all rights reserved and it's recorded properly, I'm a foreign jurisdiction to the legal system, so they can't take my property. And if they do, they're wrong, and we can take measures to protect it. The other thing I love is I don't care about stuff. At the end of the day, if the system comes and takes everything, I can get more stuff. My intellectual property can never be taken, and that's another good reason to have a society that I'm so grateful for.
Sure, your intellectual property can't be taken, but your intellectual property is also worthless, especially if they take all your property and put you in jail. Wouldn't that indicate that all of your intellectual property in regard to this sovereign citizen nonsense is completely useless and untrue? That's a form of taking it away, because it would make you realize that it's not true. Although, knowing Marcel, he would not. He would come up with some other reason that he thinks that he thinks it is true, even though it didn't work.
Intellectual.
What's the Great Reset? The Great Reset is a conspiracy theory that the financial systems of the world are going to reset. A lot of people have believed this is going to be a thing because of COVID, and that really COVID is a cover for the Great Reset. The idea being that, like, all debts will be written off, more or less. So, like, I have a mortgage and a car payment. The idea being, oh, the Great Reset will happen and I will no longer have a mortgage. I'll just own the house outright. And it's, you know, something like that. And that, like, financial systems will change and all sorts of stuff. It's basically wishful thinking. Kind of think end of Fight Club. End of Fight Club stuff, basically. If you've seen Fight Club.
Property lives on forever. Period. This is going to be around forever. People will make sure, which is great. And again, maybe not forever, but maybe 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, right? It shows where I stood. And I love...
Spagheticus says, just found about this channel and I already love Hannah. Well, thank you. Welcome to the channel.
Love that too. I love that in every video I've done, history will record where I stood.
History has its eyes on you. I learned that somewhere.
I don't care what the cowards who are supporting the system think right now, because they really don't matter. When the masses turn, they'll become the cowards they are, and they'll follow the masses. So I'm only really interested in the strong people. And again,
I know it was Hamilton. I was making a joke.
Come out every day right now. Every day, you guys, it's beautiful. I'm coaching people on how to open these. And when my wife went to open up her sovereign bank account, with the banker and bank that I use and taught, the banker told her there's only like 5 other people that even have this kind of account besides us. And that's a big bank in Canada and the States. 5. Do you know how cool that feels to have that knowledge? And that's where the people with opinions who doubt me, they forget. I sit down with lawyers all the time. I sit down with bankers. I sit down with the real people doing the real work. And they agree with me all day. And the ones who would argue, they won't put it under full liability because they know they're lying. They know they're a liar. Some people are really good liars, but facts don't.
So people do argue with you, but you don't think their arguments count because they're limited liability because they're working for, you know, the bank or whatever, which makes them limited liability because they're working for a company that is, by definition, limited liability. Great. Cool.
Don't care because facts prove liars wrong. So, and
I would agree.
As far as any haters I have, I love it. I love my haters. They promote me. YouTube censors my videos a lot. So the hater videos that happen get like 30,000 views when mine, you know, a lot of them are 300.
I wish mine got 30,000 views.
500 because I'm being censored so heavily. And there are groups who deliberately thumb down my videos, but I love that too. again, it makes me stronger. It shows me how to overcome all the time. And the main thing I love at this point is just that I have life figured out. I get more fans by the day. More people understand me. More people are respecting me. I'm very grateful for this coronavirus crap that they're doing. It's a lie. What the numbers are all a lie. Frontline Canadian Frontline Nurses .com and globalfrontlinenurses.com and worlddoctorsalliance.com are tens of thousands of doctors and nurses coming out against all this stuff. I also recommend Liberty Talks with Odessa. She has good up-to-date information. They're filing lawsuits and doing stuff to stop the system as well. And just so people know, I've called all the radio stations, TV stations. I've called a bunch of politicians.
We're up to 473,000 deaths in the good old US of A. Hooray! And 27 million cases, which are not more significant, but I would argue just as significant in many ways because of the long-term damage COVID is doing to people's lungs and nervous systems and all sorts of really bad health conditions that are going to probably continue for the rest of their lives. Not great.
And there may be a few I didn't get to, but I've let them all know they will be tried as war criminals. New Nuremberg trials are coming. And again, we have the videos from people who work for the United Nations calling for that. My understanding is from past things, Ron Paul and the Republic of the United States is coming, as opposed to Washington, District of Columbia, the corporate jurisdiction. And I want people to know, too, I'm very grateful and in love with the fact I know the government of Canada isn't a government, it's a corporation. Washington, District of Columbia is where they're registered on Massachusetts Avenue at the Canadian Embassy. And this can be verified at sec.gov.
Marcel, I said this in the previous video, and I'm going to reiterate it because I want you to clarify this point. When you go to sec.gov, this is not how citations work. And I understand... When you are giving a citation, if your claim is that the United States and Canada are not governments, but are private, for-profit corporations, then you need to cite the specific page that says that, if that's your claim. This is the home page of the SEC. The home page of the SEC says nothing about what you're saying. Okay? This is not how citations work. Maybe they cover that in 11th grade over in Canada. I don't know. But you should probably learn how to do citations properly if you're going to be an emperor, okay? It might come up.
I've been hanging out last few days just watching like Dane Cook comedy.
That tracks.
The Tourgasm, all of them bonding, and just the camaraderie that comes with that. I've been watching like cheesy 90s movies like The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride is good. Let's hang out with Marcel and watch The Princess Bride. I'm down.
Those things are very much where my heart is, and I'm very grateful to be in love. So in my life, you guys, I'm at the point I'm making the codes free. So the only people I coach are positive people. I'm not answering negative people's calls anymore, which I love. Don't need to anymore. And I basically get to live a beautiful life with my...
Yeah, when did is that an 80s movie? I think that's an 80s movie. I think it's a late 80s movie, but... like 88 or 89? 87. Pretty close. So mid to late 80s.
My wife, help her run her stuff, because she is just a beautiful woman that's done right by her kids and family her whole life. One of the things about myself in the past is I had to move on from the people in my past, but I don't have to do that anymore. That's why I was grumpy before you guys. Most of the videos I did where I was upset is because I let a sister go, a parent go, a dear friend over a lifetime go, because my principles and my oath to God matter far more than someone who's too weak to do the right thing for the legal system. And I love that I'm not weak like that. And I love that weak people show me how strong I am every day. And I'm here to just blast you guys with some love. Sovereignty is love, you guys.
He literally almost specifically defined, what do they call that? Love bombing. He literally is almost calling what he's doing exactly what it is.
Guys, it's ultimate love. It's loving freedom more than the consequences. And honestly, when you do that, the consequences are beautiful. I have the ability to rain heaven on earth down on anyone, anytime I want. And the people who do the work, I do that for. The last number of people that have got a hold of me, I'm teaching them for free. I'm just coaching them because they've already put in and shown their worth in who they are, which I also love. So I'm really happy.
For those who don't know, love bombing is something both in abusive relationships and cults. It's a phenomenon by which you will alternatively berate and insult someone to break them down. This can also involve in like relationships or in cults, I guess, physical abuse, any sort of abuse that will make you feel bad about yourself, that'll make you feel shitty, that'll make you feel scared, etc., etc. And then alternatively going between that and love bombing, fostering dependence by making you in that vulnerable state where you feel so shitty about yourself because of the abuse that you're taking, that then the love bombing, all of a sudden this change and shift to like, oh no, we love and accept you and I love you so much and yada 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 yada. It can foster dependence in people. It can make things very emotionally confusing. It can trick people. I don't want to use the word trick. It can manipulate people into being like, oh, well, you know, he didn't mean it, they just want what's best for me, etc., etc., etc.
To be past just not knowing where this journey was going to go. I know where it goes now. Within that, though, I'm having a little shoulder pain, but I love that because it reminds me I got to stretch. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to sign off here. I just really wanted to send out a message of love. The whole system right now is trying to get everyone in negative energy. Care Bear stare, you guys. 4, 3, 2, 1 stare. Let's just let our love shine. Within that, be realistic. You can't just sit in good vibes. You do have to develop that dark energy in yourself too, because when someone's in your face assaulting you or going to take your property or ship you off to a camp, I love you is not what's going to save you. You're going to need to whoop them physically, right, within the law. But what I love is I know how to do that, and I can teach anyone at any time. Get a hold of us, you guys. Just leave us a message because our phone is off, but it'll go to voicemail, 204-698-2684. If you're supportive, leave your name, your number. Can just be a first name, and I will call you back, and we'll get you set up. Go to the websites, peacemakersociety.org, all rights reserved, university.org. Right now, the codes are up, but it will be down within the next day. I'm going to work on that right now. Anyway, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I love my childhood with my mother. I loved my childhood with my sisters. I loved my teenage years becoming attractive, learning my worth, having other people prove to me how talented I am. Outgrowing people in all circles that I surrounded myself with, becoming the talented, beautiful man that I am, and now being in a place where I'm going to be braver, quit fucking up, and shine my love and light on the world. The thing is, now my day is just filled with beauty and love, so it makes it easier to share with you guys because I don't have a bunch of half-ass sellouts draining me every day, not doing what it takes. I completed the work. I did my work. If death comes in a week, a month, 10 years, 100 years, I'm at peace. So within that, I do want a long, beautiful life. So now it's time to shine the love. I don't want to be stuck in darkness, so I don't want you guys stuck in darkness either. Let go of the darkness, you guys. Just do the 3 letters. Do it as a financial planning thing. You don't have to challenge the system, but get title to yourself and your stuff back. Form a community with your own values so you attract people like you to you. And, you know, I was one of the most lost people around. Super talented, but super lost. And now I got all that shit cleaned out of my head, and I'm on the right track. Just like these tracks right here, right? Get on the right track, you guys. Get your own land. Another thing, cities suck. I lived in cities for a long time. Getting out to the country's the healthiest thing I could have done for myself. I still venture in once in a while, but yeah, get out to the country, guys. Cities are not a natural thing. You're not supposed to be piled up on top of each other like that. When you're young, I know it's kind of fun, but when you get bored of it and it becomes a drag, feel free to get out. Anyway, you guys, love you. I'll see you guys later, and cheers. Peace.
I think Marcel, when he's trying to be nice, scares me more than Marcel when he's screaming at me. Because at least the screaming feels honest. You know what I mean? Like, that feels like who Marcel really is. This stuff just feels like he's hiding behind a veneer of fake niceness. I don't know. Either way, that's Marcel. Just thought we'd catch up on him while he's in a good mood. I'm sure in the coming months, he'll post another angry video that I'll have to go through and bleep, and we'll take a look at that as well. Interesting stuff, though. Again, let me reiterate, this is all just my opinion on Marcel. I'm not making any legal claims, I'm not making any health claims, nothing. And Marcel, I do not consent to any legal action. So, leave me alone, Marcel. Isn't it weird that he just admitted on camera that he doesn't pay his taxes? Like, Marcel, I don't know what the Canadian IRS is up to, whatever they're called. But, you know, they're not gonna like that. Moving on. They do bit messages and all that jazz. Daddy Sume says, share it on Discord, Hannah. I want to see what you found. That was in regard to the Scooby-Doo Rule 34 thing. No. Doodleburb with 20 bits says, he radiates peace. I feel peaceful already. Logarth says, this video, what is Professor Xavier went insane? Or what if? Tucker White, yeah, let's just sum up everything Marcel just said. And there was a link that I can't click on because it's back in the chat. Enlid with 20 bits says, I think he needs a timeout and no chocolate milk with dinner tonight. Logarth, this video is what Professor Xavier was high on Quaaludes. Bitter old ass broad says, wait, Marcel's a prophet too? I wonder if that F you from God was a direct quote. I hope so. Doodleburb. At first I was offended when he called me the N-word, but now seeing his recent video, I see that was coming from a place of love. Enlid with 20 bits. Bill Cooper probably said the same thing about taxes. I'm actually not sure who Bill Cooper is. Caius Ballad 78, thank you for following. Rublum with 245 bits says, sorry there, miss, but I'm here to repossess your happiness under the law of the 3 seashells. Oh, Enlid with 20 bits says, well, that is some Christians, though. They say, oh, I don't like your lifestyle, but I don't hate you. I just think you're going to be tortured for eternity by my sky wizard. True. C. Wyatt says, did he just admit he is the circle jerk? Logarth with 20 bits, why are we watching a video made by an insane gray alien? Enlid says, unlimited power. Logarth, Emperor Snoke, the early years. Bardlock Moses, he's all talk. You can just tell. DBN Sleeps, thank you for resubscribing with a 4-month streak. Zonlick, thank you for subscribing with a 2-month streak, says, surprise, Bezos bucks. Bardlock Moses with 50 bits says, bits for thumbs down. I am sonoided. I'm sonoided. Thank you for following. Rublum, thank you for gifting a sub. Spagheticus, thank you for 300 bits. Lysergic Ashes, thanks for following. Zonlick, thank you for gifting 5 subs to the community. Bitter Old Ass Broad with 100 bits says, Marcel love bombs himself. Doom Smoothie with 20 bits, I'm warning you with peace and love. Zombie Tomcat, Canadian IRS is the CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, and then Spagheticus with another 300 bits. Thank you. Okay, so let's do this. We usually cover Sovereign Citizen videos, which of course is a lot of fun, but there's a lot of Sovereign Citizen stuff that doesn't come in video form. Sovereign Citizens fill out a lot of nonsense documents. Sovereign Citizens file a bunch of false paperwork with the courts. I thought we'd take a look at some of this paperwork and different things that they put out, and just see what they have to say. It's pretty interesting stuff, so let's see. The form Sovereign Citizen tried to give police when detained. Here's what it says. In Sovereign Citizen videos, we will often see Sovereign Citizens handing things to the police. Like, look at this thing. So this is an example of some of the stuff they might hand. Notice to all public officials. The bearer of this card hereby lawfully notifies you that you are commercially liable for any violation of his or her rights, and that the bearer, 1, reserves all religious, constitutional, civil, human, and sovereign rights, 2, will not consent to any search of their person or property, 3, will not answer any questions without a public servant questionnaire pursuant to the Privacy Act 1974 U.S.C. Section 88, Statute 1896, 1974. 4, will hold liable under full commercial liability for damages through civil suit any public servant who deprives them of, knowingly allows them to be deprived of, conspires to deprive them of, is negligent through deliberate indifference to, or discriminates against these reserved unalienable rights pursuant to Title 42, blah, you know, it cites a thing. 5. Will exercise the spiritual tenets of their personal creed under protection from the First Amendment and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 93. Public officials who violate their oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution may be liable for civil suit, criminal charges, and or class action suits. Fee schedule. This is the good part. This stuff is obviously just like claiming that they reserve all rights. Now, for the record, your rights in regard to this stuff are automatic. You don't need to say to the police, I reserve, rights to constitutional, civil, human, sovereign rights. The rights that you have are your rights. That's why they're your rights, because they're codified under law. So you don't need to say that stuff. A lot of this stuff is also just kind of, like, not something you can tell a cop, like saying, will not consent to any search of this person or property. Now, that applies if it is a situation where they don't have probable cause, right? If they don't have probable cause, the police can still ask you, hey, can I search your trunk or whatever? And assuming they don't have probable cause, you do have the right to say, no, I don't consent to a search, and that's fine. But how this often gets applied by sovereign citizens is they believe that, like, asking for a driver's license or insurance when you're pulled over in a routine traffic stop, they'll consider that a search or an unlawful seizure in some way or an unlawful search, whatever. When it's not, that's something that you're required to give them in traffic stops. I'm not sure about this public servant questionnaire thing, so I'm not really sure. Hold liable, full commercial liability for damages. This basically means that I'm going to sue you personally if you deprive me of any of the aforementioned rights. Spiritual tenets of the personal creed under protections of the First Amendment and Religious Freedom Registration Act. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Here's the fee schedule, though. This is pretty funny. Fee schedule: 20 ounces of 0.99 gold or its equivalent per violation of any of my inalienable rights, under any and all circumstances, including in these rights hereby claimed are my right to make use of roads, buses, trains, and air stations, the right to contract, engage in trade, and habitation peacefully. So they're saying, if I perceive you to be breaking any of these, then you owe me 20 ounces of gold. What's the price of an ounce of gold right now? Hold on. Ounce of gold price. Okay, right now, gold is $18.33. So, if you break any of the things, then you owe them $36,000 in gold. Specifically, it has to be gold. Or the equivalent. It does say or the equivalent. So, $36,000. Just so you know, you can't just tell people that. You can't just say, you owe me $36,000 if you do things I don't like. Now, if your rights are legitimately somehow trodden upon by a civil servant, you could certainly sue the government that they are working for, and the courts would determine if you are entitled to some sort of damages, but you can't just assert it. You can't just assert, if you do this, you owe me 20 gold bars or whatever. Public servant questionnaire. Attention, any government agency, department, or agent requesting information from this private man or woman, please fill out the following regarding your demand. So this is like, if you're asking me, for any information, presumably driver's license, name, etc., public servant's full legal name, resident address, name of agency, name of supervisors in office. This is basically a thing so, they can file a lawsuit against you or whatever. This is a sovereign citizen's house. On their door, they have many no trespassing signs, which is fine. You can have no trespassing signs on your house, but a lot of this is sovereign citizen nonsense, presumably. And then, interestingly, in large letters, they wrote on one of these... Why can't I get my mouse to work? Hold on. I do not consent! Land use fee, $5,000 per person per day, or any part thereof. He's basically saying, if you trespass on my property, $5,000 per person. Here's a piece of mail that a sovereign citizen sent. Sovereign citizens... oh boy, how do I explain this one? I've explained this one briefly before. Okay, so sovereign citizens... this one specifically apparently doesn't want to buy a stamp. So instead of buying a stamp what's a stamp cost these days? Stamp price. Okay, a stamp costs 55 cents. Instead of paying 55 cents for a stamp, they've done the thing that sovereign citizens sometimes believe, and that is they have put a thumbprint in red ink or blood. It's either for a lot of these people. And then they will put, charge me at this account. Sovereign citizens believe, at least many of them believe, that the government has a secret bank account for you with $2 million in it, and that if you put this code, whatever your personal code happens to be, that you can get away with, instead of buying stamps, you can just have them charge this account by putting this down. Or if you get traffic tickets, you can just put this number down and they'll take the money out of the account. All of this, of course, is fake, and this is why a lot of sovereign citizens end up getting bench warrants for unpaid parking tickets or unpaid fines, etc., because they believe that they can just get the money taken out of here, and of course they can't. This is going to get returned to sendered, if they even have a return address on here, which it doesn't look like they do, so it's just going to get trashed. Marketing, postage paid, treat as prepaid, mail tampering in accordance, you know. Oh no, there is a return address on it, looks like. It's just crossed out. So it'll get returned to sendered. And I don't know, maybe they'll be frustrated and they'll probably go to the post office and be mad. Oh, it's one of these people, but they're doing the possession of property thing. We could maybe watch that later. Here's another legal document from a sovereign citizen. Claims of a person as a man, objection to order in case number. Due to lack of jurisdiction, sovereign citizens will often claim lack of jurisdiction as their defense for whatever case they happen to be involved in. They believe that they can claim, again, sovereignty against the government and that the law doesn't apply to them, and therefore the court lacks jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is basically the court's authority to preside over the case. So like in my city, if I committed a crime in this city, or I had a traffic violation or whatever, the court of the jurisdiction, the area in which I physically am residing, not necessarily residing, but where I am when the crime takes place, has jurisdiction over that crime. It's basically what it means. And it says, I, blank of the blank family, come forth as a living man on the land with all power and authority which is written by my hand. Do not twist, construe my words. I speak and write English, parlance, and decree. Declare and demand for this matter to be discharged with prejudice. Jurisdiction, I am unbound, both by personal and subject matter. I do not consent to being surety for these actions. Surety. Am I stupid? Do I not know this word? Surety. Hold on. A person who takes responsibility for another's performance of an undertaking, for example, their appearance in court, or of the payment of debt. Gotcha. Surety is how it's pronounced. Thank you. I do not consent to being surety for these actions. So basically saying I'm not, I'm not responsible for this. I'm not going to take responsibility for these, and I'm not going to pay any fines. I order for the court to rescind all signatures due to fraudulence from the beginning and make all contracts null and void. I order the judge to honor their oath and remind you that the statutes and codes are color of law and corporate policy and not mine, and you have no jurisdiction over a man. I am not a U.S. citizen. The United States is a corporation, and I, as a man, can never be a corporation. I order for this matter to be discharged with prejudice. And then, of course, signatures, respectfully, in my own right, blank, man aggrieved of all rights, yada, 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 under perjury. And then they do the thumbprint and signature, as they often do. It's interesting because this one isn't even in, like, a proper filing format. I've never seen a court document that looks like this. Again, let me read. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I read a lot of this stuff for, like, entertainment value, and I do so on stream. This is not the proper formatting for any court I've ever seen. This is not how your filings with the court should look. Someone got a reply back from their ridiculous, motion to the court or whatever it happens to be. The declaration of revocation of power of attorney you recently sent to the Worcester Registry of Deeds cannot be recorded because the theories presented in it are not recognized by Massachusetts law. Therefore, we have returned the original document to you with this letter. Please be advised that if you disagree with this determination, you may petition a judge of proper jurisdiction to issue an order directing me to record the document. So they sent whatever this document was to the Register of Deeds. I'm not sure exactly what it was. If I had to guess, a lot of sovereign citizens will try and file paperwork to relieve them of their mortgage agreement. They'll basically say, I'm a sovereign citizen and I live in this house, and I'm, of course, making this brief. I'm paraphrasing. But they'll say, like, I live in this house, the bank, even though I owe them tens of thousands of dollars or whatever, I'm not gonna, this mortgage is unlawful, so give me the deed to the house, even though I haven't paid my mortgage. That's what I'm guessing is happening here. And the Register of Deeds is like, no, that's not legal. You can't do that. Which is interesting that they actually got a response. I've seen multiple times where they're just not responded to at all. So, and sometimes when they're not responded to at all, what will happen is they will assume it went through, even though of course it doesn't, because there's no legal force behind what they're saying whatsoever. And they will end up not paying their mortgage and getting evicted. It's very sad. They basically get scammed into, not paying their mortgage payment. It's not good. This is just someone who actually got charged with something. Any opinions are welcome on this. I was traveling with my private tags and got arrested, and this is what they are trying to charge me with. Private tags. Sovereign citizens believe they don't need registration tags on their cars. They don't believe they need license plates or registrations or insurance. So presumably this person was driving in a car and didn't have proper registration, and they were pulled over and charged. So they were charged with Class A misdemeanor penalties, disobeying an officer, resisting arrest, unregistered vehicles, prohibition, RE driver's license. They were driving without a license, driving without giving proof. So they were also not giving other documentation and stuff. Penalties for this include imprisonment for any period, whether imposed, suspended, or deferred, a fine higher than $1,200 for any single offense, probation, and home confinement for any period. So I'm sure they're going to make a fool of themselves in court with some sovereign citizen nonsense. Oh, here's a good one. They'll also sometimes make fake IDs for themselves. Fake ID is maybe a harsh word, because they're not necessarily trying to make it look like a state-issued driver's license or anything. It's supposed to be its own thing. They make up, non-official driver's licenses or just identification cards like this. That say things like Divine Authority, Universal ID Card, name, a man, began life on or about, and it doesn't even give an exact birth date, it just says May 1987. First breath location, somewhere Massachusetts. I assume they just didn't want the location where they were born on the thing. Divine Authority, blah blah blah, its address, and then a photo. Not a corporate entity dealing in commerce, requiring a license of any kind, not affiliated with any government agency or authority, divinely accredited. I like that it still has an expiration date, valid through 5/25, even though there's no one who's gonna accept this anyway. So why would it? I'll tell you why there's an expiration date. Because companies scam sovereign citizens and sell this crap to them. So they want them to look at the card and go, oh, it expires, I better go buy another one. It's for return customers from these people. Like, this guy didn't make this himself. He bought it from a website. There are multiple websites where you can go buy this stuff. I've looked at them before. Here's a Facebook post, looks like, from one of these people. Went to the post office and the lady would not let me mail anything without a zip code. She simply refused to take it. Yeah, you need a zip code for postage. That's how postage in the United States works. Tried to put the zip on herself and I told her that was a federal offense. It's not. So she just simply handed everything back to me and said, if I drop them, they will be returned, but but without a zip in the return address part, they may not make it back to me. I showed her the code, told her I talked to a postal clerk, and was told it just takes them longer to get the mail delivered to you, like 2 or 3 days more versus regular zip mail. So are we to file on them or what? I put it in brackets, but still, if they have the alleged delivery zip, why do they need one for me? You could even use the 4-digit code by the city, and they should have plenty for a delivery. Help needed to fix this. Tired of dealing with this lady. I don't know why they're so against. Again, I think they think zip codes in this case are like submitting to federal authority, because of course zip codes are like a federal thing. But, I don't know. So today I served the county tax administrator and city law director a notice of liability, settlement offer, invoice if they persist, and my POA over the straw man and DOS. I haven't been properly served for the appearance in their kangaroo court, aka the court, but I'm going to make my special appearance anyways. Oh, this is interesting too. I learned this just the other day. Sovereign citizens will sometimes believe that you don't make an appearance in court. If you make an appearance in court, then you're under their jurisdiction. But if you make a special appearance in court, then that's fine and you retain your sovereignty. Doesn't mean anything. The city law director refused to speak to me and wouldn't sign the document saying he received my paperwork. If I get steamrolled in administrative court, what should I do? A, sue the dickens off the prosecutor. B, go for a jury trial. C, contact the bonding agency. Or D, give me your advice, please, LOL. My advice would be follow the law and the rules of the court. I myself doing live videos to educate people, but it seems to be people don't care, too busy watching TV behind their doors like sheep, because he or she listens to paid liars committing suicide, genocide, being committed against the people, walking about with masks, following effing rules, not law, deprivation, and poverty people, losing businesses, jobs, being falsely arrested for victimless crimes, breaking stupid rules. If it's got the point, people are going to sit back and take the BS because that's what it is, and people don't care. Sons and daughters being abused and all the legal societies involved. There's no periods in this. This is the longest sentence in history. But people don't care, so if people don't care, why should I waste my time trying to educate people, awaken them up, and try to bring them together? The lands of Scotland is full of cowards that sit back and let this trespass of harm happen against all people. The reason the people don't care, any have a nice day wearing masks, taking COVID vaccinations, following fake laws that are only rules anyway. I'm away makes me sick of people. Whoo! That one's rough. That one was hard to read. Oh. I'm guessing that was a Scottish sovereign citizen, based on the fact that they were talking about Scotland. Sovereign citizen went to court. I had the bank by the balls today in court. Kinda doubt it. The freaking judge dismissed the case after stating that I could not show proof of damage. I cited 3 misdemeanor violations and 3 felony violations. Alright, claiming that they made violations is one thing, but you can't just have conclusory claims in court. You need to demonstrate those claims. Like, I can go into, court and be like, I claim that you have broken these laws. That's conclusory. You need to be able to, like, demonstrate those assertions. You don't just say it, you demonstrate it. The judge asked for proof of damages, and all I could cite was my credit report and my stress and anxiety. That's not how that works. The judge asked for bills and money spent due to the claim. I did not have any of that. He did tell me to seek my remedy in a criminal court for those violations input. And then they say I'm getting close to winning against these pigs. I'm sure you are. When discharging debt, I have found that there will almost always be silence on the side of the creditor. It's almost like it doesn't work and they're ignoring your nonsense. They ignore the magical paperwork all the patriots are sending into them. Why? Because very few people know how to enforce their paperwork. It must have teeth and enforceable default provisions against a live person, not some bank or credit card company. How to get out of Satan's commerce? The answer is believed to be involved exclusive equity, spiritual emergency, bill in equity delivered in chancellery with other tools along the way, and a huge change in the perception of who we are in our Creator's world and what the Creator's will is. The marathon continues. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't entirely follow that one. Pro tip to our adult children: if ever arrested, do not give any identifying information. I have no name. I'm not a citizen of the United States Corporation. They got 72 hours max to release the body, or we will file affidavit of stolen property, habeas corpus, and blow up the jail. Oh, that's, don't say that. Don't say that last line. Oh, here's another one of these cards, these fake IDs. This one's from a different place. American National Passport Travel Card. Tribe. Oh no. This is a Moorish citizen who's claiming he's a member of the Cherokee Nation of Moors. Genus masculine. Oh no! From Michigan. That's a shame. I have an unemployment telephone hearing coming up this Wednesday against my employer, who has appealed my decision to even receiving it after she's the one that told me to apply for it. So now I just gotta plead my case, and if I understand 28 U.S.C. 1654 correctly, it states, in all courts of the United States, the parties may plead and conduct their own cases personally or by counsel by the rules of such courts. Doesn't that mean a corporation can't be represented by an attorney, and that the corporation would need to represent and plead its case itself? No. It's the opposite. Corporations have to be represented by a lawyer. Like a person can represent themselves pro se without a lawyer. A corporation has to have a lawyer to represent them. Because as of now, the HR manager is going to be the one on the phone, but she can't do that, right? I didn't send in an affidavit because I didn't know what to say in it, but I do know that a corporation can't be represented by an attorney. Corporations, that's the opposite. Companies have to be represented by an attorney. So I want to know, in addition to citing that law, if there's anything else I can cite that will help me win. Thank you in advance. Jeez. It seems to me USC of the property is superior to status of user-owner when it comes to subject matter jurisdiction. The sham is to have us focus on correcting our status when what matters is a status of property. For example, there is a commercial use lien claim for every conveyance registered as a motor vehicle and every home registered as a manufactured housing unit. This is why secured party creditor process is a waste of time. We are born secured creditors, but we must declare use of our property as private household consumer goods, not used in regulatable interstate commerce activity. It begins by not registering anything, because then the presumption is interstate commerce. Oh, Jesus Christ. What are these? These are just hot. Let's go top in the past month. Maybe we'll get some different ones. Just got stopped by police. No license, registration, insurance, no plates, no problem. Much love and respect for Sergeant Alvarez for listening to the information and upholding my right to travel and letting me leave freely. He even gave me his info so we could have coffee and talk more about this issue and send him material to study. He seemed very interested when I told him to take off his mask. Then he proceeded to ask me about masks, vaccines, etc. That's a real man who's checked his ego and is willing to learn anywhere he can. I totally respect him and our interaction, and we will be talking more. Start having love for truth and humanity and educate these folks. They can be woken up with the power within us. Yeah, that happened. Oh, did you see this? Ghislaine Maxwell said she was a resident of Terra Mar, which is a charity that she has. Which is how that works. Hey friends, I'm going to get requested to appear for a local income tax case here soon. The municipal court is charging my person with a criminal charge. They are lacking an injured man or woman. I also notified the village if they ask me to appear in court, it's $500 per appearance. That was mailed to them and received last year. How should I proceed? They are attempting to summon me, but I'm alive, not dead, so I'd like to reject the summons and ask for an invitation instead, since I'm not dead. Let me know what you think. That's not how that works. Mom signed the application for birth certificate, signing over the name. The birth certificate is a certificate of title, just like an auto. No, it's not. Birth certificates are literally what it says in the name. They're certificates of your birth. You hold equitable title to use the name. The state holds legal title. They created the all-caps entity. What's the use of a common law copyright? Never seen or heard of anyone being successful in forcing a copyright on the name. Plus, in my opinion, it's totally unnecessary to compel performance. The marathon continues. I think that's the same person because they posted the marathon continues in both of them. This is an Australian sovereign citizen. Trespass notice. Notice to all persons and entities living, corporate, private, or otherwise, including but not limited to police, sheriff, servers, debtors, or agents of Australian Post, courier, delivery agents, government agents, army agents, or any representative of the Crown or state, federal, state, local agents, or representatives of local, state, federal, or Crown agencies. Trespass applies without prior consent or prior invitation. Trespass is a criminal offense. Oh, God. It's always with these people. Stop. Let me see if there's any interesting ones in the top all time, and then we'll move on to some video or something. A lot of these are memes, though. I am a sovereign national. Do I have the right to apply for a diplomatic passport? Someone says no. Then they reply, why? My person is sovereign, my home and land is sovereign, and any time I step off my land, I am sovereign, and any dealings with government, police, or Vic Roads is an official capacity makes me diplomat, conducting official business. And then the person responds, diplomatic passports are for persons representing discrete nation states. You're not representing anyone but yourself. You're also not sovereign because you live in the Commonwealth of Australia and the state of Victoria and are thus bound by the laws and customs of same until such time as you travel outside the borders of those polities. If you want to be sovereign and answer to a government, or not answer to a government, go buy an island and live on it, or buy a boat and live out in international waters. We're all a part of society, and the laws, yes, that includes statutes, apply to all of us equally. Good response. Driver refused to show identification, proof of insurance, and registration. Driver stated that he was not willing to provide requested documentation as I didn't put respect on his name. When asked what was meant by the statement above, driver replied, is you finish or is you done, and attempted to drive off. Oh, this is a thing that they'll do sometimes too. On tips and stuff that they leave for servers, which I'm glad they're leaving a tip, but they'll say like, this is not a tip, this is a gift. Gifts cannot be taxed. That's not how this works. It's a tip. You can't just call it a gift. That's not how this works. Here's a person with one of those bullshit license plates. Here's another bullshit license plate. There's a ton of these people. I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to go over some of this stuff. But yeah, that's documentation. It's a bunch of nonsense and, of course, some posts and stuff. But either way, let's move on. Bits messages. Matt's Music House, thanks for following. Crane081, thanks for following. Milk 2 Decks, thank you for following. Von Tux with 100 bits says, how did sovereign citizens come up with 2 million versus some other number for their secret bank accounts? Good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. Wind Chanter with 20 bits says, Kent Hovind time. Oh, God, that video is like an hour long. I don't want to do the Kent Hovind one now. Fu Man Chewy with 25 bits says, SVs be like, I didn't just say it. I declared it. Yeah, Michael Scott defense. Judge tells Moorish sovereign citizen he's from an alternate universe in Zoom court.
Mr. Morrow Bay, are you there?
I appreciate Zoom courts from, since the pandemic, specifically because the sound quality tends to be so much better than actual in-courtroom stuff. It's so nice.
Yes, I am.
All right, this is file 21213ST. It's entitled People versus Samuel R. Perdue, who refers to himself as Samir Siraj Morrow Bay. His mother named him Samuel R. Perdue. Mr. Perdue, you got another ticket for driving with a suspended license. Second offense, that's a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. You're also charged with speeding. I'm assuming you're going to plead not guilty to both of those?
No, of course not. I'm innocent, and my name is not Mr. Perdue, so I would appreciate if you didn't call me Mr. Perdue.
I'm just going to piss off the judge for you.
All right. Well,
Mr.
Morrow, let me tell you this. Stop. Yeah, you're from some alternate universe where you don't have to obey the laws of
No,
the
you don't
state.
respect them.
Wow, he gave no leeway. It's always interesting to see how the different judges deal with sovereign citizens, because some will give them quite a bit of line to hang themselves, right? They'll just kind of let them go on, and they'll ignore it, and they'll lightly correct them. Other times, they'll just be like, nope, done. I am not dealing with this nonsense.
Lost, sir.
If you drive again here in St. Joe County, I'm going to set your bike at $10,000.
And also,
I'm going to
lie
set this.
to you. You see this? Are you looking?
It's another Michigan person.
I was forced to get this license. I don't want it, but as you can see, your officer is a liar.
Well, what's the name on that? Is that Samuel Perdue or Mr. Morrow Bay?
Well, I'm forced to do this. Anything I do with y'all is under threat, duress, and coercion.
So you have
every time I travel, clearly,
all right, you
one
have
of your commercial mercenaries keep pulling me over.
You have a driver's license?
Because your commercial mercenaries continue to pull me over, and they won't leave me alone.
Well, stop driving. At least stay out of.
Don't drive.
That had the energy of the Jim Carrey "Stop Breaking the Law" asshole clip from Liar Liar.
All right.
Then stop driving.
Traveling is one thing. Driving is another. You can travel all you want. All right, but let me make this
That's
clear.
what I'm doing, and they won't let me travel. They won't let me travel on my own land. And you're violating the law, and you know it.
Violating the law.
Well, one of us is.
He's definitely violating the law, and anybody who needs to know anything about the law, talk about it.
Slow down for a minute. That license you held up, is it a valid Michigan driver's license?
I wonder if instances of disrespect towards judges and just basically talking back has gone up since moving to virtual hearings. Because when you're in the courtroom, the bailiff's right there, and the judge could be like, all right, contempt of court, we're gonna go ahead and bailiff arrest him. But, like, in this, they can't, so they just kind of have to deal with it. They could certainly issue a warrant for them for their arrest, but that's kind of more of a pain in the ass, and it's also it's less viscerally threatening, I think, than being in the same room. So I'm curious.
Is it a valid Michigan driver's license? Well, I was forced to go to your Secretary of State because you guys won't let me travel on my own land. That's as valid as it is. What's really valid is my nationality that you keep denying. So you're denying me due process, and you know it.
Well, you haven't been convicted of anything yet. I'm just telling you, if you continue to keep driving on some cockamamie
I don't
thing,
drive.
you're behind the wheel of a car. Give me this BS about traveling versus driving. I'm just telling you right now, you heard it here. If you drive again in St. Joseph County and you get another ticket, I'm going to set a very high bond. You can sit in jail for 28 days until we sort this out. You're presumed to be innocent of the charges that you're charged with, and you've exercised your constitutional right to plead not guilty.
No, I
I'm
didn't
gonna
plead not guilty. You said
plead
that. I said I'm
innocent.
innocent.
All right, fair enough. We'll set this for a last pre-trial. Are you still at 312 North Sage Street, apartment 302?
North America is my domicile. You can send whatever information you want to that address. That is fine.
All right.
Very smart.
So any judge who does not comply with this oath of office to the Constitution of the United States wars against the Constitution and engages in acts.
All right, I'm going to mute your microphone. I don't want to hear this crazy, nonsensical thing. I'm setting you for a last pretrial. We'll pick a date and I'll send it to you in the mail. I don't expect it'll settle the case. You already have one case set for a jury trial. We'll probably set both of these for a jury trial. I will give you credit. You always log in a timely manner, which I appreciate. I'll give you a new notice. It'll be on a Thursday afternoon. We're going to skip the regular pretrial and just go right to the last pretrial. I expect it to be set for a jury trial. All I'm telling you is stop driving and stop in St. Joseph County. All right, sir, you're good to go.
It's a public court hearing, so I don't think it does now.
Can you fill us out, please? I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. Can you please fill us out before I do answer questions?
I wonder if that's the exact same document we looked at a little bit ago.
I need you to fill us out. I'm private. I need you to fill us out.
What does that mean?
I'm private. I need you to fill us out first before I answer any questions.
Okay, just go over here.
All right, thank you, sir. Again, second time getting pulled over. I'm being pulled over again for the second time. This is the second time. Yeah, second time. Hey, you know Chuck Messos, sheriff? He actually pulled me over the other day. I have it on video. All right? So just letting you know. I've dealt with this before. No, I need you to fill this out first, sir.
Okay, but I don't have.
I need you to fill. All right, I didn't say that, but I'm just letting you know I've dealt with this before. Okay? So, no, I need you. Do you want to see the video? You want to see the video? I need you to fill this out. Here, right here, this. Here you go.
No, I'm not going to take it.
All right. All right, well, listen, I need you to fill it. I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions.
Can you step out of the video?
No, I cannot. If you want, call your supervisor, please. Call the supervisor.
But you're going to get arrested if you
Call
don't
the
identify
supervisor.
yourself, okay?
Call the supervisor.
Okay, I got you.
Can you call the supervisor, please?
Can you identify yourself so I can tell him who I'm talking with?
I'm private.
What's your name?
I'm private.
You're private?
Yes. Can you please fill this out first, sir?
Have you been arrested for this before?
No, as I said, I've been pulled over by the sheriff himself who let me go because I'm private.
I'm not a sheriff.
All right, but I'm just saying sheriff is higher than you.
That doesn't even rock
I know, but I'm just saying. So if you want, call the
Can I
sheriff.
talk for a second?
Call the sheriff.
Can I just talk?
Okay.
I understand that your political views are that sheriff are higher than police officers.
I know, but I don't answer questions. I need you to fill this out first, sir. All right, thank you, sir. I'm just going right here. Right here. I'm traveling. I'm traveling, not driving. But I'm traveling right now in my private conveyance.
You don't want disobeying on top of
I'm
that.
traveling, guys.
Put your hands behind your back.
Can I put my phone in my pocket?
There you go. You want your phone?
Sorry, I was responding to someone on Twitter. This might be fun. This is just like a best of compilation. Let's watch some of these best of Sovereign Citizen things, and then we'll probably call it a night. I'm kind of hungry, and I really should go exercise for a little bit.
Luck to go through it, unless if you meet special conditions.
What special conditions?
He wants to know what special conditions are left.
Don't eat while exercising. I'm not going to do them at the same time. Are they in like a movie theater or something? The floor screams movie theater to me.
Or if they're pre-checked.
Oh, it's an airport.
So you're aware that you guys do not have the right to discriminate based upon age? Because that's...
Oh, it's this guy! I actually haven't covered this guy in particular before, but I want to. I saw someone else who does the Sovereign Citizen coverage covering this guy, and he's so interesting.
It's the same as racist discrimination.
Oh, the context for this, because I've seen someone else cover this. What's the guy's name? I gotta remember. Is it Mike's... Is it like Mike's Corporate Fiction or something? Let me look. Hold on. They're probably on my homepage because I've been watching a decent bit of them lately. Let me find it just so I can properly cite the person. Artie's Corporate Fiction. That's what it is. I've been watching Artie's Corporate Fiction, who also does Sovereign Citizen stuff. And Artie has covered this guy, so this is how I know this. Basically, this Sovereign Citizen came to court. Or not court, I'm sorry, came to the airport and didn't want to use the full body scanner. You know, they have the full body scanners at the airport. And you can do one of two things. You can either do the full body scanner, or if you don't want to do that, you can get a pat down. This person is refusing both of them and wants to do just the normal metal detector thing. But you can't do that unless you're elderly. They will accommodate you if you are elderly to use the metal detector instead of the full body scanner. I don't really know the reason why, but that is nonetheless the TSA's policy. And they're telling this individual, excuse me, hey, no, we're not going to do that, and they get very upset about it.
That's the same as gender discrimination.
Not all ages are protected by constitutional requirements, but it's actually only over a certain age.
I'm sorry, but I don't recognize the Constitution as protecting anybody.
Very good.
I'm born with my rights, are you not? Do you believe that a document that was signed over 200 years ago gives you rights?
So here's the thing, I've given you 3 opportunities here, and you got a choice. If you would like to go through AIT, of course it's an option to you. If you choose not to do that, you can do the opt-out. With that, I would give you the advisements far before we go there so you know what to expect. If you choose not to do that, you'll have to make other arrangements.
Is there a way that I can get out without having the risk of cancer upon my body?
Age only gets rational basis review. I thought it had intermediate scrutiny.
Body and without getting sexually molested?
Well, that's your interpretation.
Would you like somebody to touch your balls? Like, is that something that you...
Through the pat-down procedure.
And how did that feel?
It really didn't bother me that much.
Well, you've probably never been a victim of sexual molestation, have you?
Right, I haven't.
Okay.
So I wouldn't understand what that was like.
So do you realize that...
Oh yeah, he pulls the power move from the... I kind of wish I was the TSA person. I would have been like, yeah, I have actually. And you know what? I also go through the TSA checks. So, you know, maybe don't use that as a reason to not want to do basic things like, you know, TSA checks.
You force several thousands of people every day who have been a victim of that to undergo a traumatic pat-down, as you call it, when really it's just a molestation.
So the choices here are
But that's the thing. There's already an accommodation for that. If you use the full body scanner, no one will touch you. That's fine. That's great. And again, I've also been through abuse in that way. Like, to use that just because you're too much of a big baby to, like, go through a scanner and to trivialize the experience of other people who've also gone through that, it's just a dick move.
And
if
the
you go through
website...
the EIT, I mean, I'm not going to try to convince you that it's safe. I'm not going to convince you that it isn't. You have the information that you can read right there that tells you exactly what risk levels are available to you.
Well, you guys even lie about the risk levels.
I don't lie about anything.
Well, the website lies, and you are here as a representative of TSA, and so I expect that what comes out of your mouth is what TSA is saying to me.
What is TSA saying there? What you told me that makes it a lie?
TSA is saying that the imaging that they use is non-ionizing, and there's no way that you can determine that because each person is different, and the level at which the radiation may ionize within somebody's body can be different for different people. So you have no way to...
So when you're standing outside, do you consider that the radiation risk level of being outside is too great to be outside?
There are times where the sun does use ionizing radiation, but that is a choice.
When you're aboard the plane and they say that it's equivalent to
a
certain level
what?
of exposure.
Did you just say the sun chooses to use ionizing radiation?
Do you
I
feel
haven't heard that.
Risk levels
I haven't encountered that. I have concerns with the body scanner technology.
Well, I'm only saying it because obviously there's a certain degree of risk in everything we do, right? This has been determined safe as by the evaluations that have been, both the safety evaluations and the testing evaluations have determined it's safe. I have no reason to discount that as anything other than safe. You've made a determination that you're allowed to make, which is you're not comfortable with it. Okay?
And your website
that's
indicated...
more than fair. It's more than fair. I wouldn't tell you that you're wrong for having that personal view.
But listen for a second, please.
I am listening.
I bought my plane ticket with the understanding from your website that I could either choose to go through a body scanner or I could choose...
I didn't see where it was giving you an option of a metal detector.
It said the two options that you use.
No, it says the two devices, two pieces of equipment.
Primary methods of security screening. So there was nothing in there which indicated only people of a certain age are allowed to go through the metal detector.
Did it say it gave you an option? It said, according to at least what you just said, is the two primary methods. That doesn't indicate that you can choose the method.
There was nothing that indicated to me that I would not be able to go through a metal detector, so I bought a plane ticket, which is non-refundable.
Honestly, you're probably getting more irradiated on the plane itself, going higher up in the atmosphere, than you are in the full body scanner, ironically enough. You're probably being exposed to more radiation in the plane than in the body scanner.
Under the condition that I would be able to pass through a metal detector, and now you're...
The guy just said that? Okay. I guess I weirdly, missed it, but also subconsciously heard it and repeated it. Whoops.
Trying to limit my right to travel.
At this point, is there anything I can do to end your compliance with this, or are we just done?
I can file a lawsuit against you.
Well, you're welcome to do so, but I can't. Well, I can't spend any more time debating it because I have no authority to debate the procedures. I cannot make an exception for you to screen you differently based on your view.
Baja says those body scanners are creepy. If you go through while using a menstrual product, pad, or tampons, get flagged by the body scanner. So if you're on your period, you'll likely get flagged and checked. Yeah, they're pretty weird. I've seen ones where it basically shows the outline of your naked body. I don't know if they've changed it at this point to not show so explicitly, but...
Viewpoint. What I can tell you is these are the two options that are available to you. There are no other options that I'm able to offer you at this point in time.
Well, if you walk away, I'm just going to go through the line and try again. So I'm going to do this, and next time I won't stand out of line. So we need to come to a determination here.
Why would you admit that you're about to go try and do it again?
Because you are limiting my right to travel. You are making it so that my ticket, which I paid for, is void because I can't use it if I can't get on the plane. So are you going to recompense me for that cost? Since it's your fault, since your website indicated that I could use a metal detector? I mean, you can either let me fly, or you can give me my money back.
Well, those are neither of the options that are available to you.
Why?
As I just told you.
Why?
Yeah,
is your
I've
website
seen
a lie?
X-Men. You know I can't play this clip.
And you just said that it never said in there that that's an option available to you.
Okay.
X-Men
It never
2,
said
I
it
think
wasn't.
that's wrong.
It did too. It said the two security
It didn't say that was
methods.
an option for you.
It didn't say that the body.
I hate airplane travel so much. I hate it so much. Ugh. I would really like if we could get, like, high-speed trains, passenger trains in the U.S. so I could not ever use an airplane again. That'd be great.
Scanner was an option for me either.
It did say it was a primary.
It said that they were both primary methods.
Well, if you want to read it again, maybe we could do that, or I could pull it up. But I'm really not going to debate it with you. It's
Go ahead and pull it up,
determination.
and either give me my money back or allow me to pass through and fly.
You know what I think? I think that this is a great opportunity for you to make something out of this situation, and I don't feel that you actually are interested in following through with going through either one of those options because you said that you're not comfortable with them. So I really can't accommodate anything else myself. So I told you what your options are. You're not choosing those. So I'm done talking with you at this point in time.
Okay, so I can go through the metal detector then?
No.
Oh, well, how can I get to my flight then? Show me a pathway so that I can go to my airplane, which I paid for. Or give me my money back.
Well, I'll be happy to walk out and put a good word in with the airlines, but I don't determine that. That's not me. You know, I have no say on. That's a private type thing. That's not anything that I have control over.
Okay, so would you like to walk with me back to the airline and see if we can get the money back?
Absolutely.
And if I can't, then I'm going to come back and attempt to pass through security again.
Well, that would be up to you, but I'd be happy to go out with you and put a good word in for you and see what they're able to do. I mean, it's their determination ultimately.
Well, isn't it your fault?
Well, it doesn't. I don't.
I'm gonna skip ahead to some of the other clips.
You're standing in it.
Okay, so you have.
Ooh, Ronnie Davis, who is in prison now for the unlawful practice of law. He was also charged, but the charges were dropped for kidnapping as well.
Come on. And are you a licensed attorney? You turn my right into a privilege. I submit a bill of lading, a bill of attainder.
Wow, that's the worst copy of this video I've ever heard.
1099, a commercial lien, a bill of lading, a bill of attainder, and an affidavit of truth and a statement of facts. I know who's going to prison. And are you a licensed attorney? Failure to acquiesce is violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 28. And are you a licensed attorney? And why the oath of office in violation of that insurance bond was violated under Title 18 U.S.C. 23 on Canon number 7 when the judge or police officer violates the oath of office, they're no longer immune and punishable as any other criminal. And are you a licensed attorney? This is capital felony treason. It is a policy enforcement officer. That's why they're called police. It stands for policy. Most people don't know this.
Silly sign here this morning is backed by a copy of the 1789 Constitution. Are there any here among you this morning, looking at my silly stuff around my neck, who would be willing to raise your hand and say that the 1789 Constitution, we all grew up learning about in school, is not the supreme law of the land? Would anybody here raise their hand? And then I would love to hear.
But, sir.
All right, I think I'm tapping out.
A lot of numbers, and the answer, in case you were curious, is 16. He's made.
So thank you everyone for coming to the stream. Let me do bits messages. There are only a few. Michigan is the Florida of the North. Always log in. He has done this before. The judge knows him. Yeah, that happens with a lot of these people. You MFer, you dare trivialize that? Yeah, that frustrated me too. Watch that video and then it was the X-Men clip. Wow, we just got... Oh, no, that's them. Well, we're going to join Thought Slime during a hype train. Perfect. Okay, enjoy. Daddy Sume says, just a reminder to you all, my DMs are open on Discord if y'all need to talk or to lewd. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Oh, God. Hold on. I gotta get this. There we go. All right. Thank you, everyone. Chat is valid. Have a wonderful evening. I will be back Saturday. Friday, I will be at my electrolysis appointment and spending time with Baja. So I'll be back Saturday. I'll see you guys then for Chud Watch. Have a wonderful evening. See you guys next time.